Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
Well then, welcome to the happiest spot in town, the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Thank you so very much for being all up in this with us. You know, Cubby, after all that's been going on around here the last few days, the sadness, the anger, I think a good old-fashioned Little House on the Prairie style killer winter storm is the perfect icing on the feces cake that we've been served here lately.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
That's what they call a white knuckler on the way in.
Oh,
for sure.
my God.
I mean, the positives were there was nobody on the road when I came in. Negatives, the side streets weren't necessarily plowed. I don't know how... Dana, I mean, you've got a sedan. I was thinking it's going to be rough. Even, was the parking lot plowed when you got here?
No.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a foot and a half of snow to get in there.
And I park outside, too.
And oh, that's right, where you live.
Where I live, at home. I park outside overnight. So, yeah, that was a fun dig out. And on 35W is kind of one of those just create your own lanes kind of mornings, you know?
Yeah.
If you haven't left the house yet this morning, hang on to your ass. I couldn't see Jack Robinson.
I park outside too, Dana, and I'm too lazy to find my snow scraper, even though it's, March. So I just use my body to get the snow off of my car.
You use your body.
Yeah. So I'm a little wet. Darn it.
Yeah, that's going to be taken out of context.
Stepped in that one.
I felt it coming.
Well, that didn't help, Ashley. Ashley, that made it worse.
I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, too.
You walk out of the building, Ashley, and walk back in. Let's start over again.
Dana, unplug it.
Plug it
Wait
back
10
in.
seconds and then plug it back in.
My
We got
God.
a power cycle, Ashley.
You just completely power bombed yourself in the middle of the ring.
It's only been like 2 minutes, too. I don't know about you guys, but I find the slowest car on the road, and I get behind them. Because then I think, okay, nobody's going to be mad at me.
This isn't a complaint. This is a strategy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you get behind the slowest car. Go ahead.
Yeah,
so that no one will be mad at you.
Yeah.
You're just following the leader.
Exactly.
Genius.
There's nothing I can do about it.
That's smart, because there's no need to be a hero out there.
I mean, it is blowing like my name was WWE superstar Eric Rowan. Plow dudes and plow chicks, word up. You know we're your biggest fans. When you get a minute, when it's safe, text us if you like, 651-989-9393. Let us know how you're doing.
I want to give a shout out to this man I see every single morning on my way to work on Kasota, the street right outside our building here. He bikes to work every single day.
Oh.
And he doesn't have a winter-style bike, and he was still out there this morning. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, that wouldn't be easy. That wouldn't be easy, I'd imagine, plowing through this.
I'd like
Get your cardio in on that bike ride.
I mean, we got a call late last night. No school today for our youngest.
School's closed.
Yeah, it's done. They said, it's going to be bad, but you hear that so often, right?
You got a call late last night?
Yeah, late last night.
Like how late is late?
After 9 at some point.
I thought it was. You meant like 1, 2 in the morning.
For me, 9 o'clock seems ridiculous on a work night.
So no school for my godson.
No, he's not going to school. And I got to tell you, he is so bummed out. I feel
What
for
kid
him.
wouldn't be?
He's absolutely miserable. He had a Spanish test today that I know he was looking forward to.
He's been studying so hard, too, hadn't he?
Yeah, I don't want to bring my problems into work, and you don't have to feel bad for him.
A Spanish test
But
he's missing.
He's really going through it right now. Speaking of Spanish, today's Cinco de Marzo. Did you know that?
No.
I did not.
You know how they make up a fake holiday?
Yeah.
Today I saw the headline, it's Cinco de Marcho, and I got to be honest, it kind of cracked me up.
I'll
sorry, I
have some
didn't-
chips and queso.
I forgot to get you guys gifts. I apologize. It's very rude of me.
I'm glad. Oh, sorry.
I want to hear. I'd like to hear the story behind your bicycle riding friend, Ashley. I'd like to.
Do you think the story begins with a late night DWI?
I don't know. Cause see, a good friend of mine became an avid cyclist to and from work, and he achieved that after losing his driver's license due to multiple DWIs. So I'd like to hear this pal of mine ended up buying one of them fancy schmancy big fat tire bicycles.
Oh, yep.
So he could make it to work on mornings like this. Stubborn sumbitch picked up a bunch of Deweys, and the judge told him, go to jail or go to treatment. Until you do one or the other, I'm not giving you your driver's license back. And he said, no thanks, and went and bought himself a fat tire bicycle because he's too stubborn to take his damn medicine.
I'll bet he's ripped now, though. Probably in the shape
Last
of
I
his
saw
life.
him, well, he's thin as a rail, I'll tell you that. Rain or shine, snow, whatever, doesn't matter. He pedals his nuts off. Not the farthest trip, but still, I mean, I think he goes a few miles on his way to or from.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
That's a lot.
If I lived close enough, I wouldn't mind biking to work. Although this is not necessarily the greatest neighborhood that time of morning, so maybe it's not a.
How close would it have to be? How close would it have to be?
Boy,
Couple 3 miles?
yeah, maybe under 10.
So I'd like to hear your guys' story, Smashley. Grown man riding a bicycle in a friggin' blizzard. There's got to be a story behind that.
And he's been riding. I've seen him for at least the last 2 years, so he's been doing this for a while.
Did I ever tell you about the Schwinn Club? There was a bar I used to drink at. A buddy of mine lived in Golden Valley, and so I'd go visit my buddy a lot, and we'd go to this roadhouse, and it was a lawless joint. We loved the place. But it was, my pal lived so close to this bar, we could sit on his back deck, and we could see the bar right across the street. So we'd have a few pregame beers at his house, and every Friday and Saturday night, there would go one grown man on a bicycle. There goes 2 more grown men on bicycles, and they're all pulling into this bar. We found out it was odd to us because they weren't dressed like cyclists. They were wearing regular street clothes. We found out that the reason so many grown men ride 10-speed bicycles to this bar is because they all got multiple DWIs.
Oh, my gosh.
So we nicknamed them the Schwinn Club. They didn't really appreciate the nickname.
Oh, I would love that nickname.
We'd go there almost every Friday and Saturday night, hang out with the Schwinn Club.
They found each other. That's wow.
So hilarious watching them go by wearing blue jeans, and a hoodie, 45-year-old man or something like that.
To reiterate our appreciation for the plow folks out there, a couple texts already came in. Can we get a shout out to all the guys and gals plowing snow at interstate companies and all the other snow plowing people out there? It's a rough one. And 64C10 Jesus said, can I get a shout out to the Otsego plow guys and gals? The roads look great up here.
A garbage man said that he just got sent home.
Oh, really?
So they might not be collecting your garbage today.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes sense.
You can understand. It's worse than I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
I'm glad you mentioned Kasota, though, Ashley. I forgot to ask you guys this. Monday. Must have been Monday.
Oh.
Did you... And I know some of you guys take Kasota on the way home, for sure, Ashley. Did you see that car that absolutely got destroyed? Somebody crashed into it. It was parked.
No.
And it was up on the sidewalk, and the back left quarter panel, the rear tire, were completely bent in. I mean, this car got absolutely hammered. And I don't know how somebody could get that much force coming around that super tight curve.
Dude, I was wondering what happened there.
Oh, you saw it too?
I drove by when they were putting it on the back of the tow truck.
Oh, you did?
And I thought, did that happen here? Like, were they parked on the side?
You're talking about that tight Grand Prix.
Right after that.
That Grand Prix style corner right down the road here.
Yes.
Somebody might have been hammered.
Somebody chose the wrong line as they tried to whip around that thing.
No, I didn't see that vehicle.
car got absolutely blown up.
Oh my God, the speed limit is 25, and when you take that turn, you have to slow down to like 15. What?
Oh yeah, I've seen. That's why they put like extra guardrails up on the one side. I've seen many crashes there from people that don't. They must not be familiar with it.
Yeah, that car was destroyed. Oh my God.
I feel bad for the person. Can you imagine? They're like, thank God my shift's over. I just want to go home.
Just want to be home.
And that car isn't going anywhere for a while. Yeah.
One of our listeners has texted in looking for a shout-out to all the Coon Rapids plow guys. He started off his text, this listener, by saying, I know Nick's going to hate this, but can I get a shout-out to all the Coon Rapids plow guys? I don't hate Coon Rapids. I was disappointed to learn that Ashley would choose to live there. But I don't hate Coon. I got some friends up in Coon Rapids. It's a hell of a morning weather-wise. That wind, Josh. As I was crying myself to sleep last night, outside my window, the wind sounded like the crash of ocean tide.
Oh, really?
It was
I didn't notice the wind.
Oh, it was just rattling me down to the... And on day one of the high school hockey tournament, no less. I was going to drive to St. Paul today to boo Orono. But with the weather and the roads as such, I might call those plans off.
Yeah, your hatred has certain restrictions.
I was going to go there just for that second game of the day so I could boo Orono. But I don't know. Not now. Not with... The garbage men aren't even out. How am I supposed to navigate?
You know who are out? The linemen. Text here, shout out to the power linemen out there. My husband's been out there since 11 last night.
Oh.
A buddy of
I
mine
forget
does
about
that. And he talks about how, it really sucks, this kind of thing. It's real difficult on him.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What up, Fred?
That lady listener who just texted in and said her husband has been working the power line since 11 p.m. last night. Get back to us. It's kind of nice to have the whole house to yourself, I bet. Right? Get back to us. Is it? I mean, okay.
Maybe that was an empty shout out. She's pretending. I understand if you got to stay overnight somewhere.
Yeah. Let us know if you don't mind texting back. Do you stay up late and just kind of have a good time? Do you watch movies? Do you?
Probably more free with your gas, I'd imagine. Just kind of
free with your...
Like anytime Ashley walks out of the studio, it sounds like there's an orchestra tuning up coming out of Nick's butt.
Yeah. Nick, you're onto something, though, because my wife's a second-grade teacher, and she called me about 5:15 to let me know that her school got canceled in Bloomington.
5:15 this morning?
Yeah, this morning. Not unlike Josh's, they waited until this morning in Bloomington to call it off. And my first thought was, well, the dog's not going to want to take a nap with me if Mom's going to be home, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Jealous?
Yeah.
Why is that once you get in a relationship, once you start living together, and they leave or are gone for a couple of hours? It's like when your parents used to leave when you were a kid.
It kind of is, actually.
You're like, all right, here we go, pizza rolls, friends over.
Yeah.
I do nothing differently, but sometimes they're just kind of like nice, like, oh, all right, well, I'm just all alone here. This is kind of peaceful.
Yeah.
Ashley, it's because we were not meant to be bonded hip to hip with someone all the time. We just weren't meant or built to be like that. So when we get a little time to ourselves, this is it's a beautiful thing. Where would prostitution be today if we didn't get that little bit of time to ourselves now and again? We need that. I don't care who you are. You need that. You cannot be hip to hip unless you're Josh and his wife all the time.
Well, I was going to mention that, I feel differently than you, but I never see her. Our schedules are so different that, I get to see her maybe an hour a day during the week. So, but maybe if you're, certainly couples that during the pandemic and since things changed at their work where there's some remote work going on, and when both of them are staying home, I've had some friends that have like, I always kind of wished for this where we could be home together all the time, and now I'm starting to rethink it.
Don't get me wrong. I do miss my fiance when he's not there, but I do get like a little giddy. I get to watch whatever show I want to watch.
That's why I want this lady to get back to us. Yeah, I know your husband left last night in the middle of a snowstorm, but as soon as he shuts that door, deep down inside, do you say, "So long, sucker," and then put on some porno movies? I don't know. Last night, I met Ashley's future in-laws.
What'd you think?
I went out to Ashley's bar gig. Despite the storm, her gig was in my neighborhood. I met her future in-laws. Let me tell you, troubled people.
Yeah, right.
If I had to predict, that's what I'd say.
The truth is, they're two of the nicest folks I've ever met.
They really are.
You got lucky.
I know. I really did.
Because a lot of people marry into maniac families and their in-laws are a walking disaster.
Yeah, I struck gold.
If your in-laws are a horror show, text us, 651-989-9393, and tell us what it's like. We've covered this type of thing before, of course, but I can't remember any of the stories. Text us and tell us real quick about your whack bag in-laws so Ashley can appreciate what she's found herself even more than she already does.
I was kind of questioning your relationship, Ashley, with your fiance, who I hate. I'm just kidding, I love him, but
Understandable.
And then I met his parents. We were out one night. I think it was before the boat cruise, and I was like, okay, I get it now. You're not marrying him. You're marrying into that family because they're great people.
Very nice.
So
couple.
I'm the only one that hasn't met him yet.
That's right.
Are they not looking forward to meeting me? Is that it?
Oh, no, they are very much looking forward to meeting you.
I can't wait. I can't wait. But you didn't mean not to, Jesus, said the lady that texted in about her lineman husband who's been out all night.
Yeah.
He's got a rough one ahead of him. Said that wasn't a shout-out she gave. It was secret code for her side piece to come over.
I would love to be a part of that.
Wouldn't that be something?
Absolute genius.
Yeah, we weren't meant to be together all the time. You gotta have some time to yourself, or you climb the walls. You end up climbing the walls.
Yeah, quite a few.
Domestic violence.
Just so you know, if you're out working right now, a lot of people are thanking you. We're getting a lot for the garbage men, the linemen, for the people that are out there plowing. Yeah, go ahead and plow your brains out.
Yeah, I saw the plow guys when I got here.
Did you see any of the plow guys?
The plow guys had not arrived
They
yet.
had it. Yeah. The plow guys were here when you got here?
When I pulled in, they're creating quite a sledding hill for the young kids in the neighborhood. I saw them out there. They seemed to be in good spirits. They waved, they nodded, everything. Oh, yeah. All you folks out there trying to make things easier for us despite the killer snowstorm, word life.
Yeah, those guys are great. And I think I told you before where sometimes they've been working when I got here, and I feel terrible parking in an area. I have to ask them, where would you like me to park?
Yeah, where do I go?
And they could not have been more nice. Like, dude, just park where you got to park. We'll figure it out. But I thought, I don't want to ruin their day. Somebody has I had mentioned earlier, there was this car in Kasota, which is just kind of down the road from us, that was absolutely destroyed the other day. And I was wondering, how fast would somebody have to go to do that to a car? And especially in that area, if you know it, that's tough to get a speed up there when you're coming out of that turn.
Right.
On a journey, Jesus said he drove by the car, too, and figured maybe a semi caught it with its trailer. That makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of semis going in and out of there.
A lot of truck traffic comes through this here neighborhood. Sure, okay, that's got to be it. All right, in-laws. A few texts have come in. Again, Ashley, not that you're unaware of how lucky you have it with your fiance's folks, but just a reminder. Here's a listener that says, my in-laws are drunks and meth heads. My in-laws are like an unaired episode of the Jerry Springer Show. Another listener said, my in-laws are like an unaired episode of the Jerry Springer Show. Another listener goes ahead with this. My mother-in-law brought a 6-pack of beer to our baby shower. It was supposed to be a dry event.
Oh, my God.
It's just a sixer. Come on now.
And then she made a big deal at the party when she couldn't find it. Where's my 6-pack?
No. Somebody texted and said, my in-law didn't believe I was allergic to chocolate and put melted chocolate in my soup. They blew up like a balloon.
What? That's insane. You can kill somebody with that kind of thing.
That's attempted murder.
That's crazy. I lucked out. My mother-in-law is wonderful. I remember when my wife said her father had passed away, I thought, oh no, I don't have to meet a dad. I can't imagine. Your fiance is a brave guy, Ashley. I mean, you've got all those brothers. Your dad is one of the more intimidating people I've ever met. I can't imagine the first time meeting some of those folks.
Actually, the first time that he had to come and meet my parents, he was with one of his buddies beforehand. They were having a couple of beers. I think they ended up having a lot of beers. And so when he met them, his face was like bright red because of him being slightly intoxicated. and he showed up late. And I thought, what? Like, why would you do that? Like, there's a set time. My parents are hungry at this point. It's been like an hour past when they were supposed to eat. And then I came to realize, all right, I would be terrified too. I get it.
So, I mean, what's your dad like when you meet somebody that you realize, okay, this is a real relationship? Is he really hard on the person or
no,
not?
My dad can come across as a quiet guy, and that can be intimidating for some people.
Because you're wondering what he's thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And
Is he plotting something?
He looks like an average tough, or above average tough guy, I should say.
But my dad is a sweetheart. He really is. He's a sweetie, but he definitely doesn't play about his baby girl.
I wouldn't think so.
I could tell the minute that we met that he was that, kind of a little rough on the outside, but deep down a nice feller. I could tell that the minute that we met.
One of the more powerful handshakes I've ever received.
Yes.
Yeah, I love when
got a vice grip.
I love when he tells me stories about when he was younger because he sounds a lot scarier. He was a bouncer for a number of years, and some of the stories he tells me, I'm like, Father,
Your
how
dad's
could you
kicked some
do
asses
that?
in his day.
Oh, definitely.
Your dad could star in Sons of Anarchy.
He got in a fight with a broken leg once and won. Like, that man's scary.
Well, I could beat up a broken leg.
I could beat up 2 broken legs.
Yeah.
Shout
Josh, did you just say a minute ago that when you found out your future wife's father was dead, you were pleased to hear that news?
I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I understand.
But there is a little relief, like, okay, it's got one parent.
Of course.
But no, of course not.
I mean, of course, you weren't pleased to hear that news, but there is some measure of relief there because you don't know what the dad's going to think of you. You don't know what kind of person they are.
I never liked meeting the dad, especially because you know that they know what's probably going on in your relationship, right? And they're looking at you, and you're looking at them. And I would try and seem like the most asexual guy in the entire world. Like,
You've mentioned this before, I think, on this here radio program, where meeting significant others' fathers was a stressful thing for you.
Certainly, yeah. Because that's kind of how it was at our house, right? My dad taught me to be very fearful.
Don't be ashamed. I mean, I'm the guy who's made it very clear that, at least this is what I was taught as a child. My dad and his buddies would tell us young guys, they'd say, boys, here's what you're going for. When you get older, this is what you're going for. A woman with a large chest, money, and a heart problem, a serious heart problem. And preferably both of their parents are dead. This is the advice that I received as a child, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, Josh, you had 0 dads to meet. In my relationship, my wife, she has 3 dads. 3 dads that I need to
How does somebody have 3 dads?
She has the biological dad, of course.
Right, give me a pen and a piece of paper. I need to keep
You're going to need an
track of it.
abacus?
Okay, she has a biological
scientific
dad.
calculator.
Yeah.
Go ahead, that's 1.
And then a stepdad.
Stepdad.
Who she grew up with, throughout her youth, and then her mom and her stepdad got divorced in college.
No. Oh, God.
And now
In college?
What?
When she was in college.
God.
I was going to say, how young did they get married?
Okay, so she's got a biological dad.
Yes.
And then a stepdad comes into her life.
And then now a third stepdad, or a second stepdad, so that makes 3 dads.
That's ridiculous.
Do you get along with all 3?
All
and be
3
honest?
of them are absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
be honest.
Truly, I do.
She's already agreed to marry you.
We're in wedding month right now. I think at the end of the month we're getting married. So
I know some people who could use a decent father figure, and your fiance is hogging 3 of them.
that's
true. There's some poor kids that grow up without one dad.
Yeah, I got a couple of buddies in their mid-50s who could still use a decent father figure in their life.
I'll pass along their numbers.
Have you guys extended the aisle for all these people that are going to walk her down it?
Well, there was a big debate about who was going to walk down and that type of thing.
All right, fine, I'll do it.
Just tell us how many. How many are walking
Nick
her
and
down?
Josh will walk her down.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. It'd be classy.
Or you know what? I want to walk you down.
That would be nice. I would like that.
How many are going to walk her down?
Her mom and dad. Her biological mom.
Gotcha.
Obviously, one mom and then biological dad.
Let's see. More shout-outs coming in for the plow drivers. This person wants to shout out the City of Eagan plow drivers. Going to be a long day, they say. Yeah.
A lot of folks texted
That's my
in.
town now.
What about what?
That's my town now. I appreciate that.
I don't know how you can live in Egan.
You know what?
I don't get it.
So far.
I just don't get it.
It's not. It's not
really
fun.
isn't.
I never go over there because I'm like, it's like a whole 40 minutes.
I don't get it.
I'll tell you what. So I grew up in Minneapolis. I moved out when I was 24, and I remember living there thinking, why would anybody not want to live in Minneapolis? Just growing up there. Like, I don't understand it. Then I moved out. I'm like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I totally understand.
This is nice.
Parking is so easy. It's so many less people. Yeah, I totally understand.
Wow, a listener has just blown my friggin' mind via the text messages here. We got a lot of different subjects happening at once, and that makes it fun. Some folks are texting in about their nightmare in-laws. Some folks are texting in about the weather, of course. And then I just brought up a minute ago that when I was a young kid, I was taught by my dad and his hillbilly friends that when I get older, the type of women I should go for are the ones who are large-chested, they've got money, and they've got a dangerous and near-fatal heart condition. A listener just texted in and said, do you think maybe your wife was looking for the same thing when she considered marrying me? Now, here are the comparisons. You might be a little confused. I do have aggressive nipples. I've been told I have aggressive nipples.
That's wrong.
I got a few bucks in my pocket. There's no doubt about that.
They're stately.
From Wyzetta, for Christ's sake. I got a few bucks in my pocket. And I have a heart condition. Is there a chance that my wife had the same... Are you following where I'm going with this?
Yeah, she... I don't know if you're aware. Well, no, I know you're aware of this because she told me your wife and I were texting yesterday, and she is concerned about what you're doing to your body that could cause some man boobs to develop. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
No.
There's a product you use that
What?
she's been telling you it's full of endocrine disruptors, if I'm pronouncing that right.
All right. We might need an extra break for this. One more time now. You and my wife texted.
Yes.
And she said she's concerned about me.
There's a product you use that she said, I've told him it's just full of endocrine disruptors. Hopefully I'm pronouncing endocrine correctly. And that can cause man boobs.
She did not tell me that.
Oh, she hasn't talked to you about that?
I love that even more. It's behind your back.
I don't want my endocrine disrupted, not even knowing
what product are we talking about?
Well, I don't want to, besmirch a product, but it's a fragrance that you use.
My Axe body spray? She's BSing.
I don't know what she's talking
She's
about.
She's BSing.
I'm not going to throw a name out, but
she does look for that. And I thought it was quite rude. A while back, 3 of my buddies went on some kind of a tropical vacation with all of their wives, right? And there was a picture up on social media that she showed me, my wife showed me, of my 3 high school pals. They're in a pool, shirts off. They all got a beer in their hand, and the caption was, "Yay, we're vacationing in Mexico," or whatever, right? There they are, 3 smiling, happy suckers in their 50s. And I said, "Oh, that's a great picture of the boys." And what does my friggin' wife says? She says, "I'm seeing a lot of breast tissue there."
What's her deal with man boobs?
And I said, "What? What the hell kind of a thing is that to say?"
I love that.
And then she called me out for it. And I said, "I do not have breast tissue."
Oh, man, I feel like I need to wear a sports bra next time I see your wife.
Yeah.
She's looking, Dana.
I just thought, what kind of cold-blooded ass? Here's these 3 guys having a good time. I'm seeing a lot of breast tissue there.
She rules.
And I said, "Show me your breast tissue, for Christ's sake." Yeah, it's a hell of a deal.
One person on the topic of nightmare in-laws, they admitted that their parents are the nightmare in-laws, and that their significant other is a saint for dealing with them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it can take different angles. There's no question about that. All right, we ought to be moving in the right direction here. Again, total nightmare outside this morning, out on the roads and whatnot. So
thank you, plow folks, for doing what you can.
You got to do what you got to do. Plow folks and garbage folks and linemen and line women and all that. Hang on to something tight if you're trying to drive. We shall return here in a few minutes on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We've covered many topics this morning already. Let's check the text messages. First off, we were talking about, what the hell were we talking about? More or less what we look for in a significant other, or what we were told to look for in a significant other by a parent or an adult in our lives. Hammer Daddy Jesus texted into the show, and he said, I hit the trifecta with my fiance. Big chest, goth, dead father, and abandonment issues from her mother. Well, that's more than...
That's a quadfecta.
Quadfecta.
I don't know what you call that.
A young lady.
Trifecta plus?
Trifecta plus one. A young lady in our listening audience texted in to say that her uncles told her when she was young, marry a man with money, even if he has a small penis.
That's the cure for a small penis, right?
Money.
Yeah.
Lots of money, maybe
Nice
a Lamborghini
car.
or something like that.
Mm-hmm. We talked about horror show in-laws. I met Ashley's future in-laws last night, and they were just wonderful people, and we had a fun conversation about this and that. And although she's already aware, I let her know again this morning how lucky she should feel to have those wonderful people waiting on her to become a member of their family. A lot of folks aren't that lucky. We talked about horror show, nightmare in-laws. Many of you texted in on that. And again, the number is 651-989-9393 if you'd like to get a hold of us. Here are a few text messages on terrible in-laws. One listener says, we bought a cabin in the year 2018. And when he says we, I imagine he means he and his wife. His mother-in-law proceeded to furnish one of the bedrooms as if it's hers.
Oh, no.
Moving in.
Oh.
What happened here? You know, he walks into the bedroom. What happened? His mother-in-law just decorated one of the bedrooms in the cabin as if it's hers. Don't mind me. This is not your cabin, Mom. What the hell?
I'd love to know how they dealt with that. That would be awkward.
I'm picturing her showing up with all these boxes.
They take your room.
They took
She took the
She's like,
master.
yeah, this one's better. I want this one.
My mother-in-law let her fourth husband go to third base on her in front of me and the wife as a power move.
Oh, gosh.
A power move?
A power move, he calls it.
No.
This listener.
Third base.
I would run.
Third base.
Bases.
Would you, I mean, where would you, like out of the whole ballpark? Where would you run?
Yeah, no, I would leave everything behind.
Let her fourth husband go to third base on her in front of me and the wife as a power move.
You know, even a second base honking would be disturbed enough, but I can't imagine third base.
Oh, my God.
Now, third base means something different now. When I was in third base, that was...
You mean when you were... You just said when I was in third base.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was in a band called Third Base. I was much younger.
I remember the song Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yeah. We'd sing that one, and Jeepers Creepers, Where'd You Get Those Peepers? We used to sing that one, too. When I was in third base as a young man, that meant a knuckleball, we'll say. Now, Ashley, I think you told me that is oral at third base?
Yes.
Yeah.
The game has changed.
Mm-hmm. The different generations have different ideas for what happens at third base. Okay, if anyone else also read this text message, please don't name any names. They specifically went ahead and said, don't say my name on the radio, but they allowed us to have this information about their terrible in-laws. One of our listeners straight up said, my mother-in-law stole my identity.
Unbelievable.
Bush Light Head for the Mountains trucker Jesus says, both my folks and my wife's folks are dead. Life is good, he says.
You don't have to go anywhere, do anything on the holidays.
No, you don't. A lady listener said, my in-laws are great. My husband, on the other hand. And one more topic we covered. Plow folk. You know that we are your biggest fan. If we tried to take the time to mention every shout-out we've gotten this morning so far via text on plow people, we'd be here all morning long. Just know that everybody is texting in saying they appreciate you and hang on to something because it's going to be a long night. What did this guy say? I've been plowing since midnight. I'm only 15% done. Then I got to go home and plow the friggin' wife, he says. That's 22 too many Jesus. So just know there are so many text messages coming in for you plow folk. You're very much appreciated.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. I'm sure it's going to be a long and at times difficult day.
There should be discounts on Red Bull and sunflower seeds on days like today.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how they survive. Chewing tobacco, caffeine, maybe some seeds if you're trying to quit chew. Whenever we get to talking about the folks who work behind the wheel of the plow, I can't resist but tell this story about a friend of a friend who landed a job driving those big bastards like the ones that the county sends out onto the roads. And they give them the funny names, Plowy McPlowface and Joe Plower and all that. Got a job driving one of those pigs. And unfortunately, in one of his first days on the job, he took out about 200 yards of fencing on the side of a road.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Oh, I feel so awful.
He looked in the rearview mirror, and that fencing was just cascading up in the air like the wake of a boat. You know what I mean? Johnny, oh, my God, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, well, what's your first step?
You leave and never come back.
Mm-hmm. I know some of you are going, get to the stupid news already. But there was one more route I wanted to take. Big concert tomorrow night. Disturbed plus 3 days grace. 3 days grace is coming on over to the radio station today. Beginning at 1:30, 3 days grace is going to swing by to join Derek Madden on air. And they're going to guest host Derek's show, tell some stories, play some of their favorite songs before their big show tomorrow night at Target Center. Keep listening to 93X. Our pals at Dennis Kirk will have tickets to send you to see 3 days grace open for Disturbed tomorrow night at Target Center, sponsored by Dennis Kirk. Wonderful.
3 days grace is amazing. I had a chance to meet the guys, and I saw them in concert. They put on a great show. I haven't seen Disturbed, but I've heard good things about them, too.
I 100% agree with you. That's one of the, well, I guess they're not so much a newer band anymore, but 3 days grace I really enjoy. And Adam Gontier, we had him in studio. Do you remember this, Nick?
I do.
He started dating, and maybe he's even married to what we were told at the time was a Minnesota girl, and he was here. He came in. He's one of the nicer rock stars we've ever met.
Very nice.
Very nice. So, yeah, Derek's going to have a great time with them, and I'd imagine that'll be some fun stuff to listen to.
You can also listen after the concert tomorrow night. 93X is going to play an hour of nonstop Disturbed and 3 days grace hits to take you home. I loved that bit when we were kids.
Me too. I would, even if at the time, couldn't afford all the shows, and back then it was like $8, right? Still couldn't afford it, but I would tune into that when radio stations would do that, and especially if they played the set list. I always thought that was really cool.
And I don't think I ever heard them play the set list, but I have very fond memories of when Motley Crue and Whitesnake toured together in 1987. And it was just a riotous show at Met Center. And then the whole ride home, we listened to somebody who was playing all Whitesnake and Crue on the way home. Maybe it was the old 93X. I suppose it probably was the old 93.
It was.
And speaking of music, one more note. Starting at 10 a.m. today, we're going to premiere the new single by Ghost.
Okie dokie. That's my favorite part of his show.
And then play it every hour. Every hour after. 93X is bringing the Ghost World Tour to town. 2025 World Tour. That's August 2nd. And tickets will be available here if you listen to 93X. Go to our website for more info. Okay. There's lots going on around here.
Yeah, that was another. I don't know what we're supposed to call him anymore. The lead singer, the lead director. He kind of changes his titles.
Yeah.
We got to spend a few hours with him.
Oh, sweet.
Were you here, Ashley, at that time? Time is escaping me the older you'd know, because he sat in studio with us for 3 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay.
It was a poke.
He was a fun guy.
It was a friggin' poke. All right. On to the stupid news. I'm happy that Randy Shaver's old retired carcass is getting the hell out of my least favorite southern state by tomorrow. We'll talk to Randy at 7:30, and tomorrow's the day he's finally heading out of there. He's been playing with fire, spending so much time down there. Here's a real cutie pie who resides in that southern state. The state with a full sound, and then it ends with "erd," just in case people aren't familiar with. I don't like to say it out loud. It starts with a full sound, and then you end it with "erd." This dude's been accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from a joint called Tiffany and Company.
Oh, I love that place.
Oh,
Expensive, right?
Very.
Yep.
That's real fancy stuff.
They're very well known for their, it's like a teal baby blue color boxes. That's how you know you got a good man right there.
Oh, is
Pulls
that
out
right?
one of those boxes. Oh, yeah.
teal, baby blue. You described the color?
Yep.
I know a guy's got a ribbed turtleneck, same color.
Oh, I bet he looks so cute
Like
in
a
it.
baby blue.
Yeah, it's not always great, Ashley.
Tiffany's has a location here locally, Nick's favorite hang, the Galleria.
Yes, I believe that was there when I used to work there.
Mm-hmm. I just swung through the Galleria over there in Edina, my first time there, and
Surprised they let you in.
I thought it was just fabulous. Okay, dude steals. It's more than actually 100. I'll tell you the value here. Dude steals a pile of jewelry from Tiffany and Company, and then he went ahead and swallowed some of the evidence with plans, I assume, to poop himself a fortune when the opportunity presented itself.
Well, I mean, you also risk the diamond tearing open your esophagus or something on the way down.
I didn't think about that. This guy swallows like a champ. He gutted.
That's what you're looking for, by the way.
Right. His name will grab you, too. His first name, listen closely now, Jathan.
I don't know any Jathans.
So his entire life, he's come off like he has a childlike lisp whenever he introduces himself.
Yeah.
His name is Jathan.
I'm
I'd
sure
probably act out too.
he's gotten a lot of this. Did you say Nathan?
Right.
No, Jason? Mm-hmm. They couldn't decide?
Jaythan. That's got to be difficult. So Jathan, who is 32 years old at this point, he fooled the jewelry store into thinking he worked for the Orlando Magic NBA ball club in order to gain access to the fancy schmancy jewelry. I don't know exactly what story he's spun for the folks over there, but he convinced them he worked for the Orlando Magic NBA basketball club. Somehow he forced his way out of the jewelry store, and he had some expensive items on him.
I would say this. My first clue that he probably doesn't work for the Magic is that it appeared in his mugshot, or not in the mugshot, but when he was sitting in the back of the cop car, he was wearing an Orlando Magic jersey. I would assume if somebody
No,
was
he
wearing
was
that,
not.
It looks that way to me.
Oh, God. I hate to say this about the Tiffany and Company store down in Orlando, but you people must be a bunch of friggin' suckers. If you work for a ball club, you do not walk around town wearing that ball club's jersey. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
this isn't a little league team.
Maybe a windbreaker or something like that.
That's crazy. Here's
Dressed like a basketball.
That's embarrassing. Here's what he had on him when he busted loose from the jewelry store. $769,000 worth of diamond earrings.
Whoa.
Okay, I should start over because there's so many numbers here. You know how I am with numbers. He stole earrings worth $769,000. Another pair of earrings worth $160,000. And another pair of earrings worth $609,000. And a ring, like say you put on your finger, that cost $587,000. I think I have that right. So this sumbitch had a couple $1 million worth of stones and such. Later on, when the cops apprehended Jathan, he had most of the jewelry on him. Then a body scan at the jail showed he had one pair of those earrings down in his boiler. He had gutted one pair. Maybe he had plans to swallow it all if the cops hadn't pinched his ass as quick as they did. And you know what he was planning on doing later, Josh?
Pooping it out?
Get the strainer out.
He was going to pinch a loaf.
Yeah.
Like we established that as our new favorite way to describe a bowel movement. You brought it back. I hadn't heard it since 7th grade. You brought it back a couple days ago. He was going to pinch a loaf. Or, like Ashley said, haul out a strainer. Depending on his diet, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be gross, but, like you said, there's a couple $1 million there. He literally craps diamonds.
He was going to pinch a loaf and then root around in his own feces.
Worth it.
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, they didn't really say if he just reached in and grabbed something, but I'm surprised they would let. Because usually, at least in my experience, like when I was shopping for my wife's engagement ring, and we're talking, even that little amount of money, they wouldn't have more than one out at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, they're very serious about that.
Yeah, here's one, and then if you want to look at another one, they'd put it back and bring another one out.
The Orlando Magic must be very influential in this neighborhood.
I'm going to guess so.
Oh, no, the cops said this now. Remember, the guy gutted one pair of earrings. The cop said after the rings are passed, they're going to rinse them off in a sink and hand them back over to the folks at Tiffany's.
I wonder how much value they lose.
Yeah, do you get a discount on the poop diamond?
I wonder if it probably wouldn't change, right?
They're going to ask the new guy to handle that job, aren't they?
Yeah.
I hope he can. You know how the new guy usually ends up.
He's got a weak stomach.
This guy is a career ass bag. He had like 48 outstanding warrants or something insane like that, and he had been charged with robbing another Tiffany's jewelry joint in Texas a few years ago. Who does the cooking over there at your place, Cubby? The old lady, you, a mixed bag of both?
It's usually her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm lucky, very lucky.
Here's what I was taught. If someone's going to cook for you, even if it's garbage, you act like you enjoy it, you thank them, and then you talk trash about them when nobody's looking.
Well, the last part I'm not so sure about, but I agree with the first two wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I never would complain ever if my wife was kind enough to make something.
You don't round the corner? Like if you ran into me right after your wife made you a terrible meal, you wouldn't say, Jesus Christ, that was just absolute garbage.
No. I mean, the closest may be like, oh, it's not my favorite.
It depends on what you're taught. I was taught to then talk trash about them when you're around. A 43-year-old gal, again, in that shady-ass southern state we were just rapping about. I mean, at least we're not in China or effing England. I always enjoy a good old American story over all others. A 43-year-old gal by the name of Nativida, if you can follow that. Nativida, I don't know what it is. She got herself arrested for aggravated battery. She stabbed her boyfriend. Because the stubborn sumbitch didn't like her cooking. There's no word on what specific delicacy she was stirring up for a pimp. But she stabbed him because he didn't. He called the cops, and he told the police that she was windmilling an 8-inch knife at him, and she caught him on his forearm when he was trying to get the hell out of the way.
Her mugshot should be up on 93x.com in a couple seconds.
Is it a good one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I see real quick on your
Absolutely.
computer? Let me see the mugshot for the lady.
It's unique.
She looks
Jump scare.
The look on her. How would you describe the look on her face? I was trying to figure out a way to verbalize this for people who haven't seen it.
Tough.
Yeah, I stabbed him.
She's frightening looking.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, Ashley. It is kind of a, I stabbed him look. and like, she doesn't understand why people are so mad about it.
No.
She looks like she'd do it again.
She does.
She admitted to the cops that they were arguing over her piss-poor cooking, but she said she hit him with a napkin holder. You know, a long, sharp, shiny napkin holder with a handle on it. Her boyfriend, he'll be fine. He got some stitches in his arm. And he learned a lesson, I imagine. He should have known better. Especially, no way he didn't already know that she was capable of such a thing,
I'm
right?
sure.
This is his friggin' girlfriend.
There's signs.
When you know that your significant other is bat-ass crazy, you don't make comments like, oh, God, this is terrible. But she cut
I'd
a
be
player.
so hurt, but not stabbing hurt.
She cut him. Oh, dudes, what the hell is wrong with these effing jagoffs right here? A story out of Juvie Hall in Southern California. I bet you can find trouble pretty easily at Juvie Hall in Southern California.
I'd imagine
you're right.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
It's hard
I've
enough.
never known anybody to go. Have you guys?
A couple of my buddies back from the old days went to Juvie.
For a significant amount of time, or like a week, or
Months.
months? Okay.
Yeah. My memory is, I think both of them spent a couple months in Juvie Hall.
Anything you're comfortable sharing, or is it a little too dark?
The first one, I don't remember. He was a sneak thief, and so it must have been stealing. The other, later on in life, was a terrible accident at school where someone was hurt.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, is it one you were talking about not too long
Yeah.
ago? Oh, yeah.
A terrible accident at school where someone was hurt.
And I love that guy. I know who you're talking about. Do I know the first person?
Well,
that you mentioned?
I've mentioned before that when he got locked up, it was pretty much a sure bet that he was never getting out.
Oh, then I know of
You know
that
who I'm
person.
talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
A couple of my brothers went to juvie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
What'd
wasn't.
they say?
I wasn't around when they did, but just stealing cars. stuff
Oh!
like that.
That'll get you in juvie.
Yep.
Were they locked up for a long time?
I don't believe it was too long. My mom said, "Yep, see ya. Ship them away."
It's a hard enough place to survive on its own, and then these puke bags enter the picture and make it even more difficult. 30 officers at a Southern California juvenile detention center have been charged for setting up a so-called, or I should say, for setting up so-called gladiator fights between the young kids at the hall.
This is up on 93x.com.
How in the hell are you supposedly law enforcement and think that that's going to go unnoticed?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
They must have been somehow getting away with it for a while, right? Just getting cocky here. I don't get the logic behind this.
You got to be out of your friggin' mind.
Right.
The officers at the juvie joint, which goes by the name of Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in Los Angeles County, allowed and sometimes encouraged nearly 70 fights to take place. This was going on back a couple of years ago, and the whole ugly story just cut loose in court. So about 140 kids between the ages of 12 and 18 were beating each other's underdeveloped brains in while the security clowns took bets and whatnot and timed the events and things like that. And even they encouraged it. They laughed and high-fived the kids after it was just a sick, twisted, what mess. You know, the sad truth is some of the kids probably loved this gimmick, but I'm sure plenty did not.
Sure.
And, of course, it's so effing wrong. I can't understand how the grown folks involved could have been so brutal and so effing dumb.
Seems there could be some better rehabilitation strategies there.
Jesus,
letting
balls.
kids kill each other
Kids
on video.
wailing away.
Maybe some therapy would be good.
An attorney involved in this mess said a certain time and place was created for the fights. It was all very organized. The so-called officers are looking at charges like child endangerment, abuse, conspiracy, battery. The LA Times got a hold of some video footage and turned it loose. And that's how the investigation started.
You know, and some of those kids are probably there for a violent-related crime. Hey,
Right.
we're going to teach you violence is wrong by locking you up and then encourage you.
One kid did end up with a brain injury after having his lights kicked out of his head.
That's terrible. Jeez.
This is the kind of story that, I mean, if you're a normal person, this kind of story pisses you off. You know what it makes me want to do, Josh? It makes me want to organize a bracket-style karate tournament and put all these fake cops up against that karate dude from the Olympics.
Oh, man.
How do you friggin' like it?
That guy, he can kick some butt.
Get your head kicked smooth off your shoulders. God, I can't even believe it. These guys are so stupid.
Oh, my word.
God, it took my breath away again. All right, what time is it? We got to get going. I think I might have time. This next here report is a little confusing, but I'll go ahead anyway. In a place called Holmes County, take a guess which state. Holmes County. A dude has been accused of unintentionally setting himself up to be arrested. The cops say that he sent a text message about leaving illegal drugs behind in a house that he was asked to leave. I'll try to make that more clear. According to the Holmes County Sheriff's Office, cops were called because a jagoff by the name of Christopher Newton was trespassing in a house. It sounds like this Newton clown was living in the house, but he was no longer wanted there by the owner. While on scene, the cops saw that Newton texted the homeowner and said that he had, quote, left a baggie on the nightstand. Cops looked around the bedroom that Newton had been staying in and found a plastic bag containing a substance that tested positive for cocaine. So this Newton guy was arrested and charged with possession of cocaine. So as Josh would say, the guy boned himself. It was a self-inflicted bone job.
Yeah.
Did I explain that
did it
well
to
enough?
himself, yeah. Hey, I might have left a couple things behind, including that baggie of cocaine.
That's something I would think that would be like the first thing I grabbed if I went anywhere.
Or you just go, well, I guess I got to get a new baggie of cocaine. Don't want to admit that that's mine.
In a social media post, the sheriff's office said if you're going to leave something behind, maybe don't text about it. All right.
It's just sugar. I left a plastic baggie of sugar laying there. It's special.
Ooh, Porno Jesus texted in about that terrible juvenile hall story where the officers were allowing the kids to beat each other into oblivion as part of some kind of gladiator fight set up. Porno Jesus says some of those officers probably watched the movie Felon a little too often.
Oh, good movie, by the way.
Dude.
Wow. Very good movie.
Felon. With, don't tell me his name. His name is Val Kilmer. And his name is Steven Dorff. Look it up. If you like prison movies and dark films.
I don't like dark films.
I love them.
But that was a very good movie.
Felon. All right, for cripe's sake, someone paid $88,000 for that Cheeto that looks like a Pokemon.
That's ridiculous.
We got into this a few days ago. Why in the name of all hell would someone do that?
You can see the Charizard Cheeto on 93x.com if you forgot what it looks like.
Does it look like Charizard?
It does.
It looks
Okay.
so much like Charizard.
I'll take your word for
Char-
it.
I don't know if it's
Zard.
$88,000 worth.
They call it Cheetozard in the posting.
That's cute.
Cheetozard is the name. Here's how the story begins. Well, the story begins with a hip saying that you might see on TikTok or Instagram from an influencer. And I'm so happy to be able to play a role here in this hip saying. It says right here, okay, again, someone paid $88,000 for a Cheeto. It says right here, tell me you have too much money without telling me you have too much money.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How did I nail it?
You nailed it.
That's exactly how it goes.
The one thing that it kind of makes me mad is that they don't highlight the fact that it's a flamin' hot Cheeto.
Well, the story here in front of me highlights that.
Oh, well, it's not on like the Instagram post that has gone viral.
Why does that have you upset?
Because it makes it cooler, because Charizard like blows fire and it's a flaming hot. Like,
Okay, I see.
You know
where
what I
you're going with
mean?
this, actually, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't follow a word that you're saying, but there are people I'm sure who do.
That should be just like their leading cause here on the Instagram post.
So you're suggesting that the person that paid $88,000 may have underpaid for this thing?
Yes, it should have hit at least $1 million, Josh, at least.
Cheeto-zard. It's a flaming hot Cheeto that kind of looks like a Pokemon character called Charizard, a place in Georgia, a collectible joint. First posted a video of the Cheeto last year. Sorry, Ashley, the flaming hot Cheeto last year. They said they've been hanging on to it for about 5 years. It's 3 inches long. They framed it to look like a trading card. The online auction site by the name of Golden listed the Flamin' Hot Cheeto last month with a starting bid of $250, and it went totally mental from there. This past weekend, it sold for, like I said, $88, God help us, $1,000.
It is crazy how much it really does look like him, though.
I can't imagine having to explain that to my wife. You know, I might have got a little out of control on the internet last night.
You got a little out of control, babe.
If you got $88,000 for a Cheeto, you probably don't have to answer to anybody.
I would like to know if whoever bought it does have a wife or a husband.
I'm guessing, I mean, who knows on that, but they don't have to answer to anybody. They got so much friggin' money they can't stand themselves. That's got to be it.
I would hope so, right?
Do they think
Like somebody's like, well, I got to wait another 5 years to retire.
Right. Does the buyer think that this flamin' hot Cheeto that looks like Pokemon, do they think it'll be worth more in another 5-6 years?
I think it
That's a
topped
good
out right
point.
there at 88,000.
Will they just eat it?
Oh, that would kind of make me mad.
Well,
They buy it and then they open it up, eat it on camera, just one bite.
Get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Just eat it, Weird Al Yankovic said all those years ago.
Coming to town, by the way.
Coming to town?
Coming to town. Hopefully we get him in studio.
Oh, God, that would be cool. So cool.
Oh, he'll hate our guts, and,
Yeah, he will.
and it'll destroy us forever.
Oh, that's true. Don't meet your heroes.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's the 2-2 from Blackburn. Back on the catcher. Alvarez goes down.
Yeah, that can't feel good. I got to believe these catchers, they're sort of like spring training. You know, you always talk about football. They always say in camp they just want to get hit a few times so they can get numb. Like, these catchers got to be the same. They get worn out all year long.
And now that baseball is back, we can enjoy videos of grown men having their genitalia remodeled.
Up on 93x.com.
Check this video out. Mets catcher Francisco Alvarez took a foul tip to the dong and scrotum during a spring ball game a day or two ago. I thought the listeners, that doesn't make any sense. I thought the announcers could have been much more sympathetic to the man.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
They acted like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt, is all the first guy says, and the second guy goes on about how this is how you would toughen yourself up for the regular season or something.
As if they enjoy it. The catchers look forward to it.
Yeah, you got to get hit in the nuts a couple times. You become numb to it, or what?
I don't like
yeah, you
that.
played catcher, Ashley. Is that the case? Did you like taking one off the face or something?
You know, I never took a ball to the groin or the face. I was too busy catching it.
She was the Mike Piazza, the Gary Carter, the Carlton Fisk, the Pudge Rodriguez of the operation. She was in control the entire time.
You know it.
Never had one baseball, softball get away from her. Pigs got a win last night. So did the Timberwolves. Today, the boys' high school hockey tournament starts over there in St. Paul. That's going to be a goat rodeo trying to get to St. Paul with this friggin' weather and the roads. The first game is St. Cloud Cathedral in Matamidi. We'll tell you the full slate of games a little bit later on when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder join us. Real quick, we were talking about people that are crazy enough, and I think we can call them crazy, to criticize someone who's cooking for them. We had a story in the Stupid News where a guy criticized his girlfriend's cooking and she stabbed the poor bastard. Just smile, act like it's the best meal you've ever had, thank them, and then talk trash about them when they're not looking. That's how you handle a poor meal when someone's cooking for you. A listener texted in, this struck me funny. This is God's going to sit this one out, Jesus. He said his dad's way of saying the food wasn't any good to his mother was to say, well, I wouldn't want to have it every day. That's great. How was it? How was dinner? Well, I wouldn't want to have it every day. That's good stuff. We got to take a break. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. I'm not exactly a tech genius, but I knew one thing for sure. If I wanted my small business to crush it, I needed a website that worked like a pro, and I needed it yesterday. Lucky for me, Bluehost made it ridiculously easy. With their AI design tools, building my website was a walk in the park. I could customize, optimize, and monetize everything exactly how I wanted. In just a few minutes, I had a secure site up and running. I couldn't believe how straightforward it was. And getting found online? Bluehost helped me with that too. I perfected my keywords and meta descriptions with their search engine tools. The AI even gave me suggestions to improve my pages. Now, I can sit back, relax, and focus on my customers while my website continues to rank higher and higher on Google. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, I wasn't worried about taking the plunge. And now I'm so glad I did. Head over to Bluehost.com and build something special today.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Part of the strategy here is to stop them before they get too far into the pursuit, before the speeds get out of hand, before it gets into residential areas. And the longer it lasts, the more in danger the public is, the more in danger the officers are.
Sovereign citizen who tried to flee the cops? Meet the Grappler. In a recent advancement in law enforcement, the Grappler police bumper played a major role in stopping a police chase in suburban Cleveland over the weekend. The pursuit started when an officer pulled over a car with dark-tinted windows and a tag reading Moorish National Republic Federal Government. Investigators said the driver refused to cooperate with the officer or even acknowledge his authority because 31-year-old Nia McClin of Chicago claimed to be a so-called sovereign citizen.
Some of the things that this officer noticed was her responses were citing that they did not recognize the officer's authority, that she was citing different titles and codes that were not Ohio law or law that the Supreme Court had ruled on.
What McClin didn't know was just before she fled the traffic stop, an officer, suspecting she might run, placed a small device called a Terminator, under one of her rear wheels. The tire quickly went flat, but McClin doesn't only ignore the law, she ignores the laws of physics, and she took off from police on only 3 tires. A neighboring department was added to the chase because of a specialized piece of equipment called the Grappler police bumper.
The cutting-edge technology allows officers to deploy netting and straps from the so-called Grappler bumper that are directed under the rear wheels of the vehicle being pursued and quickly bring it to a stop.
On Sunday, the device worked as designed and safely ended the pursuit of McClin's car. If it's a little tough to understand, you can see a video on 93x.com. Body cam video shows McClin being ordered out of the car at gunpoint, and under the law, sovereign citizens refused to acknowledge or obey. She was arrested and charged with fleeing and eluding.
That's got to be the absolute worst for police officers, running into a sovereign citizen.
They got a grappler now.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe they pray for this opportunity. I'd want to use a grappler if I had it.
I want to get grappled.
Yeah, what is a grappler again? The Terminator, you put on the tire pops, and hopefully they'll pull over. What's the grappler?
So the grappler has like a fork, basically, that comes down from the top of the bumper, right? So it lowers from the bumper, and then it shoots out like toe straps, basically. They wrap around the tire, And then you're in a bigger SUV, the cop is.
Right.
And the cop slows down and stops the car in front of him.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
That sounds like fun.
A British construction worker admitted accidentally killing a friend in a drunken, drug-fueled game over who could take a punch the best. Jason Thomas had been drinking and using cocaine with 22-year-old Liam Morgan Whittle in Wales when at some point their night took a turn toward the Darwin Awards when they started arguing about their toughness. The two men, who had worked construction together, were at a friend's house when the game turned deadly. Thomas punched Morgan Whittle twice, knocking him unconscious. A victim understandably panicked and asked, "What have you done?" Thomas, in true British tough guy fashion, so there's an asterisk next to it, reportedly shrugged and said, "He asked for it. I told him not to mess." Despite efforts from emergency responders, Morgan Whittle died from catastrophic head injuries, including a brain bleed and cardiac arrest.
Come on, boys.
Terrific.
Thomas's defense attorney argued he never meant to hurt his friend. The judge, however, blamed Thomas's excessive drinking and cocaine use, saying it clouded his judgment.
Christ
That's
almighty.
a sad way to end your evening. There.
Cocaine and alcohol will usually cloud your judgment quite a bit.
Do you know from experience?
No.
A Florida woman.
You know what always clouded Cubby's judgment? Hot mamas.
Oh, they're distracting.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
You have no control.
Nope.
None. A Florida woman focused heavy on the battle part of custody battle after allegedly firing shots at her baby daddy because he showed up to a custody exchange with his new, hotter girlfriend, and she didn't appreciate that.
That's gotta hurt.
25-year-old Aisha Dennis met up with her ex to exchange their 8-month-old child last Thursday. But when she saw him roll up with his upgraded +1, things got heated.
She's hotter than me.
Words were exchanged, tempers flared, yet somehow the couple did manage to calm things down and make it home in one piece. But then Dennis thought about it more, and she was pithed. Later that day, she decided round 2 was in order. She stormed over with her silver semi-automatic and pointed it at the happy couple. A struggle broke out. The gun went off, but thankfully no one ended up with any extra holes. Clearwater police say Dennis is already on active felony probation and isn't allowed to look at a firearm, let alone fire one. She's now on house arrest, facing about 2 paragraphs worth of charges.
I'm sure that kid will grow up totally fine.
That's psychotic, but nobody likes that when they see their ex with a much better looking person than they are, right?
I'm sure, yeah, you're hoping that they end up downgrading.
Yeah.
Never happened. I don't know.
You wouldn't know what that's like.
Kidding.
I just remember this story when I got divorced the first time. Another one will be coming at one point or another. But when I got divorced the first time, a gal friend of mine ran into my ex-wife. And, some time had gone by, and I was seeing another woman. We were divorced. So this gal friend of mine says, she ran into my ex-wife, and my ex-wife said, "Have you seen Nick lately?" And this gal friend of mine said, "Well, yeah, I see him all the time." And my ex-wife said, "Does he have a girlfriend?" And she said, "Yes." And my ex-wife said, "Is she hot?" And my gal friend said, "Well, yeah." And my ex-wife said to this gal, "F you."
No, lie a little bit. It's like, she's okay.
Lie a little bit.
I mean,
she's all right.
Some people might be into it.
Yeah. It plays with your confidence and your ego when you see your ex with someone who's just drastically better looking than you.
For the second time in less than a year, a 30-year-old man is facing charges for attempting to engage in a sexual act on a Missouri Metrolink commuter rail train with a seat. A woman told officers she saw D'Angelo Covington with his genitals exposed. He was moving around, and then she boarded the train, and he put him away. Later that day, police learned Covington got on a different train, exposed himself again, and still feeling romantic, spent about 10 minutes attempting a sexual act with the upper bar of a train seat.
Oh, yeah?
Gotta do something past the time.
Police say surveillance cameras captured both incidents.
So in this particular case, we were able to provide very detailed, very descriptive video.
I bet they wish there was less details and descriptions. He was humping a chair, guys.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was the case of love at first sit, because these latest charges come just months after Covington was released from the county jail following a similar incident in June. In that case, a Metrolink engineer boarded a train and reportedly found Covington with his genitals exposed. attempting to engage in sexual activity, once again, with a seat. He likes those public seats.
That's a harsh partner to choose right there.
Yeah, everybody needs a slump buster.
Gosh, I don't know. I hope I never get that desperate.
A seat on a bus? Is that what it was?
A train.
A train.
Like a light rail.
There can't be a lot of comfort there. You know, wait till this guy encounters a recliner or something. You know what I mean? Something with some.
Yeah, I could probably think of 10 different chairs I'd hump before that.
Yeah, one of those fancy ones that like massages you a little bit.
I got one of those. That thing will kick your ass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
Was it Brookstone? Is that the store that always had those?
Sharper Image, too.
Sharper Image. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
You can hit a button on that pig, and the massage mode takes over. It'll bend you like a friggin' pretzel. I mean, honest to God, it's somewhat uncomfortable. I thought my lungs were going to come out my throat when I first hit the massage button.
Does it have a heat and everything?
It gets hotter than hell.
So you've got one of those?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the vernacular you used in the stupid news, today's term.
Yeah.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Is that an old person thing?
I'm very jealous. Yeah. I always seem like an old person.
Come on over and sit on that chair sometime.
I probably never want to leave.
I'll hit I'm telling you, I'll hit the massage button. I mean, honestly, you get nauseous.
Can I ask you something?
It tears you limb from limb. Yes, go right ahead.
Female guests, do they request it after maybe a couple of Mike's Hard
It's
Lemonades
not that kind of massage.
Oh, it's not?
No.
It doesn't work in that?
I'm telling you, you know those, what do they call those massages? You and I both had one separately. Sports massage?
Yeah.
It's reminiscent of a sports massage.
Oh, that's unpleasant.
No, it's meant to end your evening.
I thought the lady was mad at me.
Right.
I thought I had offended her.
No, it's not like a zzz kind of a thing.
Nothing pleasurable?
It folds you in ways you don't want to go.
Man. Start my chainsaw here.
Oh, that gave me the chills.
Well, you're in danger. I don't know how to operate a chainsaw, and this is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board's looking for answers after a chainsaw-wielding culprit went rogue near Cedar Point Beach and murdered several trees. Sometime between last Wednesday and Thursday, a tree massacre went down near the Cedar Lake Road and West Franklin Avenue, right by the walking and biking paths. About 5 perfectly healthy, maturing bur and basswood trees met an untimely end, and a few others were wounded and scared. If you saw anything suspicious, like some lumberjack cosplay from a guy with a chainsaw, Minneapolis Park Police would love to hear from you.
Why'd he do that?
Yeah, what's the motivation?
Was it a view-related thing? Oh. They wanted to see I don't know.
Maybe he just hates the environment?
Could be.
Needed firewood?
A 35-year-old South Carolina man took his love for a well-balanced dinner too far and was arrested Monday after a violent attack on his own mother for cooking 2 meats for dinner. I don't have any other info other than he was unhappy she made 2 different meats.
That caused him to unleash a physical attack on his mother?
Yeah, he choked her and beat her.
Oh, my God.
Justin McWhite is facing serious charges after Sunday's meat incident, an occurrence police say is rare to medium rare in their town. McWhite's beef was over the double meats his mom made for him, and he became so angry he followed her into a bedroom. Moments later, his sister heard the victim say, "Justin, I'm not scared of you," before mom's screams for help filled the house. According to the sister, McWhite had one hand around his mother's throat while using the other to beat her over the meat sequel he obviously didn't sign off on.
The mother was taken to a hospital and is receiving specialized care in Charleston. McWhite is now charged with attempted murder.
McWhite fled before officers arrived, but Florence County deputies tracked him down and took him into custody the next day.
Your own mother.
I know. I wonder what upset him.
Sounds awful.
I just like that Josh said meat sequel. I'd see that band.
I'm picturing the texts that are coming in right now directed at my mother.
Oh, yeah.
A school in England has taken a bold stand against mirrors. Great news if you're a vampire, but for an image-conscious teen who may have a new pimple or a rogue wisp of hair, it's becoming an issue. The principal of William Farr Comprehensive School in Welton said mirrors encourage students to spend too much time in bathrooms, often in large groups. Okay. However, parents are calling that decision strange. He insists the move is about keeping students on schedule. We've had some issues at transition times, he said, which could affect punctuality to lessons. Some parents, however, aren't convinced. My daughter has contact lenses and braces, one mom pointed out. She needs a mirror to see if she has to take her contacts out. Another mom added, "We have mirrors at home and somehow my kid still makes it at school." A third parent saw both sides of the issue but posed a critical question. What if they've got something in their teeth? But for now, the school is standing firm. No mirrors, no exceptions, leaving students to fix their hair using phone screens, window reflections, and the back of heroin spoons. The principal said he'll revisit the issue after the initial test run of the mirrorless restroom breaks.
I guess I'd heard of that before, but it was at schools where the kids were so friggin' out of control, they were breaking the mirrors and trying to kill each other with them.
Jeez.
This is a little different here.
We were threatened with that.
For what reason?
Just spending too much time in the bathroom.
What do they, do people just sit there and stare at themselves?
Take selfies, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. You know the young people better than the rest of us do these days. Have you ever noticed my godson spending way too much time checking himself out in the mirror?
No, never.
I would have had a huge issue with that when I was younger because I was very important, very self-conscious.
You were very important?
I said that was very important.
Oh, that was very important.
Yeah, you're very worried about everything at that age.
So in between classes, you'd want to check yourself out.
Yeah, make sure my hair is in the correct place.
Hey, I got science coming up. You know, the cute kid Corey's going to be sitting next to me. I want to go. I know, Ashley, you started drinking before and during school when you were in junior high. I waited till high school. Me and my friends waited till high school to do a little drinking during school and before.
Yeah.
And this is something I'll never forget. We left school because we had study hours or whatever, or some of us just straight up, what's the word I'm looking for, skipped class. And we would go to a house nearby and we would drink. And when we were seniors, we did a little bit of this. Not a lot, but we did a little bit of that. Leave school, go drink, come back to school with a buzz on, right? And I was left behind one day, which was hurtful. My friends went off and drank, and somehow I was left behind. But here come my drunk pals now for the final hour of school, and I run into them in the bathroom. And one of them was quite buzzed up, and he's just staring at himself in the mirror and kind of running his fingers through his hair and just staring. I mean, everyone was laughing and acting like buzzed high school kids, but this guy's just fully engaged in looking at himself in the mirror. And I said, dude, what are you doing? And he says exactly this. I'll remember it till the day I die. He checked himself up one more time and he goes, I'm looking pretty good these days.
Oh, my God.
And I said, for Christ's sake.
Did you agree?
No, you look like Shrek.
Oh, no. Yeah,
looking pretty good these days.
Yeah, you got to roast him for that.
Yeah.
A few pieces of business we hope you're interested in before we get to shout-outs. Today at 10 a.m., 93X will premiere the new single by Ghost. But if you miss it, we're going to play it every hour afterwards. We're also bringing the Ghost World Tour 2025 to town August 2nd. Got plenty of tickets to give away all the way up to that show. Visit 93x.com for that info. Then later today, this afternoon at 1:30 p.m., we're very excited about this. 3 Days Grace will take over the 93X studios with Derek Madden, tell some stories, play some of their favorite songs before the show tomorrow night at Target Center. Dennis Kirk is providing us tickets to send you to see 3 Days Grace opening for Disturbed tomorrow. Then after the concert, keep listening to 93X. We'll be playing an hour of nonstop Disturbed and 3 Days Grace on your way home. For more details, check out 93x.com, and thank you again to our sponsor, Dennis Kirk. Happy birthday to the better, prettier half of Stucco Jesus, Stacy. Early birthday shout out to Josie May, turning the big 02 on Saturday. Happy birthday to Anal Squeezing Jesus, who has offered me his services.
Wow, that's lovely.
We've got a male and a female listener now whose Jesus and Sheezus names revolve around anal squeezing.
Yes.
You're aware of that, I'm sure.
Yes.
They're meant to be.
We've met anal gland squeezing Sheezus many times.
Yeah. I wonder how she feels about this now, because she was the original anal squeezer of the two of them. I think I'm being accurate with that statement, and now here comes this guy with a similar name. I don't know if she takes offense to that. I mean, I'm sure she's aware that there are other people who are squeezing anal glands to pay the bills.
How many times can we say it?
Yeah, she knows there's a lot of anuses out there that need to be squeezed.
Yes.
And she can't do them all.
No, she'd be exhausted.
No,
she'd likely die.
We need people like her on that wall.
Yes.
We need anal squeezers.
Thank you to the plow studs and plow babes, as well as all the garbage men and women, linemen, everyone helping the rest of us normal plebes.
You think at this point, Josh, some of the plow folk are starting to lose their friggin' minds?
Could be. A lot of them have been out a long time at this point.
Don't crack up on us. We
Get
need
to hour 12. Yep.
Thank you for helping us get to and from work today, especially from. We appreciate you. And by the way, you've received more texts than we could ever read from the brother and sisterhood saying the exact same thing. So thanks to you. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver. There's always something new with him. He's an embarrassment to himself. This guy's, he comes around this community. He thinks he runs in here.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
LeBron, open three. Got it! 22 seasons, 40 years of age. LeBron James, 50,002 points.
Yeah, the sumbitch got there. He only needed 1 point last night to reach 50,000. Regular season and playoff combined. Randy Shaver is here. So is the lonely boy, Brad Ryder. What up, Dodes? Hello, gentlemen. Anybody there?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Randy Shaver. Hi, Brad Ryder.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
All right, Randy. All the time you've spent in Florida.
Yeah.
And we've been busting your balls about how much Florida sucks. I have to admit, today and only today, I'd rather be there than here.
I know.
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
No, it's just
about
today.
Anything.
No, you drove into work this morning, Josh. You experienced it yourself.
That's a little rough for sure.
Yeah.
I've been watching my Ring camera this morning.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
What? You look out onto your front step.
Yeah, looks messy.
Do you have a guy? Do you have a guy that comes and cleans your driveway?
Oh, Brad, I live in a senior community. Of course I do.
I was going to say send them over to my place, please, because that's what I have to do when I leave this.
I mean, last night, I compared it earlier to a Little House on the Prairie style killer blizzard came to town. And, I mean, it was a hell of an operation trying to get in here this morning. The wind is whipping, Josh, like my name was Scottie Pippen. And we've been all morning long thanking all the plow folks for helping us out because it's a disaster out there.
Oh, yeah, they're earning it for sure. You mentioned Little House on the Prairie. I was going to say, I don't know if you guys if anybody here watches 1923, but I'm caught up in the most recent episode over the weekend. They had a giant snowstorm, and I came in and thought, hey, I'm experiencing exactly what Harrison Ford experienced on Sunday.
Love that show.
It was pretty crazy.
Brad Ryder, are you already at work this morning, or you have to go drive to work, working from home?
No, I do not. Our spring break started today.
What?
So
perfect timing.
Oh, yeah, March.
I'm off. Well, I'm not off. I'm doing other things, but I don't have to go back to school for a while.
Do colleges get snow days?
I think they do.
Enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah,
sure.
We had a few when I was going to college.
Nick's godson, he's off today. We got a call later last night saying, "Don't even worry about it. We're canceling school." And Dana's fiance is a teacher. Her school was canceled.
Yep, she's off.
I guess we never had one in college, but maybe it's a new thing.
There were times, Josh, where the school wouldn't call it a snow day, but some of the professors would cancel the classes.
Yep.
And then there were a couple of professors that wouldn't cancel the classes. What's wrong with you? We hate you now.
You hated them anyway.
True.
Today's the only day that I'd rather be in Florida. Because it's a hell of a deal, Randy Shaver.
Yep.
Brad Ryder and Randy, is Sam Darnold out now and J.J. McCarthy in?
Sure looks like it.
Because, the reason I ask, it says here the Vikings did not place a franchise tag on Sam Darnold. So what does that mean next?
It doesn't. Well, if they had put the franchise tag on him, then they would have kept him for at least a year under that contract, or they could have traded him and got something back in return. The problem with that is if you don't trade him, you're locked into that contract for a year, and you need a trade partner really before you decide to place the franchise tag so that you don't get yourself caught. I still think they're negotiating with him. Mm-hmm. I think that they really want to bring him back, but they don't want to bring him back at $40 million a year.
$40 million a year.
For a long time, for a long length.
How old is he?
What has happened to professional sports?
Early 20s making that much money. Wow.
Can you clarify, Randy? Did they have to do the franchise tag by yesterday? I mean, or
yes.
I thought it was
no.
To do
Yesterday
that?
was the deadline.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But it doesn't mean that he's not coming back. It just means that they're not going to give him what I think it's like the top percentage of what everybody's making as a quarterback. That's what you lock him in for that 1 year.
That was the way to lock him into a short-term deal for
correct.
Not a lot of long-term money,
right.
And that avenue is gone now. So there's less likely of a chance he'll be back. That doesn't mean he won't be.
All right.
Right.
All right. Yeah. There's still some things to figure out.
It's the same thing they did with Cousins last year. They decided not to franchise him, which was a smart thing, but they still talked to him after the franchise tag was lifted. But, I mean, I think Sam Darnold will make more money going somewhere else. I think that's pretty clear. And so I don't anticipate him coming back.
I think most quarterbacks in his position and in Cousins' position last year, too, I think their agents, by and large part, tell the team, don't franchise tag me, or don't do that. Now, ultimately, it's up to the team whether they do or not, but I think a lot of, and I've known a couple agents who have said that, who have told me that they tell the team, if at all possible, please don't franchise tag us or my client, because we would rather get a long-term deal.
The door is open for Karen, says a listener.
Stop it.
The door is open for Karen.
I think Karen's going to end up with the Giants. That's what I think.
Well, the New York Giants. Okay, what teams are mentioned here with Sam Darnold as possible trade partners? Las Vegas Raiders, Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was going to say the Raiders. I think that's the
Tennessee Titan.
Pete Carroll is the head coach there now. I think he'd love to have a young quarterback that has shown that he can be successful in the league. They have been such quarterback starved in Vegas. I think that makes, and I think they have a lot of money to spend. So I think
they have talent. They have receiving talent there big time. That tight end is like the number one tight end in the league, and they've got a nice receiver too.
They've got a lot of money to spend this offseason. I think it'd be a decent destination for Darnold.
Right on. We'll see what happens with the dude. Man, how drastically things can change in a couple, 3 friggin' months.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Speaking of Karen, I love reading articles like this. I mean, not that we need to get into it, but here's the headline. Says here, the New York Jets parting ways with Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard, whoever the hell that is, proves that they wasted 2 years on Karen.
They did. I think it's, well, I mean, he did get hurt 10 seconds into his first season there. So
yeah.
That's kind of a little bit unfair.
Oh, we enjoyed the hell out of it. It was fair. He knew the risks when he signed up to play football.
No, I know, but I mean, as far as the Jets go, it's a little unfair. But still, you're right. I mean, they spent a lot of money, and they chased it, and it didn't happen.
Is this one of the funniest comedy bits we've ever seen in sports history? The Karen Rodgers New York Jets bit?
The fall of Aaron Rodgers?
It's been beautiful to watch.
It has been. It's going to go down as one of my favorite all-time gimmicks. It really is. And it says here about the New York Jets.
Promising at first, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I watched Hard Knocks, and I thought, oh, man, he's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if he doesn't get hurt the first 10 seconds, who knows?
What was it? I remember the Brotherhood texted in and said his fourth snap was his Achilles tendon or something like that. Fourth snap of the season.
That's too good. The end of this article about Karen Rodgers and the Jets murdering their franchise beyond repair. It says here, the real, I guess, finishing touch that was put upon this ball club. Unfortunately, they weren't bad enough, even though they were terrible, they weren't bad enough last season, to land a high enough draft pick to get Cam Ward, and likely won't be in a position to take Shedeur Sanders.
Right, correct.
And speaking of Shedeur Sanders, he's been criticized for being arrogant. He was criticized for being arrogant and unprofessional at the NFL Combine. What? The son of primetime Deion Sanders? That can't be right.
That's hyperbole.
That
There's
must
no
be
way
some
that's
type.
going on.
It must be a misunderstanding.
Yeah, somebody mistyped that. That's AI wrote that article.
Talent evaluators of 3 NFL franchises weren't very fond of what they saw or heard from Shedeur Sanders. Now, then again, others said he was polite and cordial and witty and friendly. So, Brad Ryder, you're usually the one who brings up this other side of the coin. Mm-hmm. Clubs who are saying he's a prick could be making the whole thing up to try and cause other teams to shy away from drafting him.
Yep. Right. I mean, that's not to say maybe he wasn't, but there's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of that stuff that goes on pre-draft in any sport. I mean, I saw it in the NBA firsthand.
What'd you think of that guy? Boy, he was a douche. We wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, you should stay away from that guy. A
couple months later, they hand him $80 million. No, he's... Saquon...
Can't believe he slipped all the way to us.
Yeah, right. We don't know how that happened. We got lucky. Saquon Barkley, running back for the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, who, again, we should all be very grateful to. Very grateful, despite their fan base's reputation. Don't ever go a day without thanking the Eagles after what we went through with the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's the first thing I do every single morning.
As
you say your prayers, you take your vitamins, and you thank the Eagles.
You should. I know it's tough, but you should do it. Saquon Barkley had a record-setting season. Now he's made history, I guess, with his new contract. He and the Eagles agreed to a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension. Now, that makes Barkley the only running back in NFL history to have an annual salary of at least $20 million.
And I'll say this, his personality and his demeanor and his loyalty to the Eagles, I think, goes a long way, too. I mean, the guy is the kind of guy you want to have represent your franchise. So I think some of that is a little bit of a payback to him for his loyalty to that organization too.
Well, wasn't it Barkley?
In the sense that he represents them very well.
Yeah, is he a nice guy? I'm glad to hear it.
He is, yes.
We read, whatever was it, just a few weeks ago, that at the end of the season, wonderful season, he bought each and every one of his offensive linemen a brand new pickup filled with Budweiser.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome.
That's a nice guy. So go ahead, Saquon Barkley. Be the first running back in NFL history to have an annual salary of at least $20 million. No skin off my ass. The Arizona Cardinals are expected to trade their quarterback, Kyler Murray, to a quarterback-needy team if, in fact, they can get a first-round draft pick in return. I've mentioned before, I really like that. I like watching that kid play. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Just not a lot of talent around him. At least not enough, anyway. I think they thought that Marvin Harrison's kid was going to be a big splash, and he really kind of was disappointing this year at receiving.
Didn't we read that they were the least when they had that player survey on, your overall...
They're one of the teams, yes.
Your overall view of your own ball club, or any... Right? Wasn't that how they did it?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
They were ranked dead last.
No, the Jets were ranked dead last.
They were toward the bottom, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Jets.
Yeah, the Jets were dead last.
Well, at any rate, according to that survey, it's not the greatest experience in the world to play for the Arizona Cardinals.
Sounds that way.
Several NFL teams turned down the opportunity to be the subject of HBO's Hard Knocks this offseason. We talked about it yesterday. It appeared that HBO had found their huckleberry, some might say, in the form of Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels college football team, but I guess not. North Carolina, Belichick, and HBO were unable to come to an agreement. So now it's not going to happen.
Well, at some point they are going to run out of teams. I mean, they've done a lot already, and the ones they haven't done probably didn't want to do it to begin with.
Right.
I just get a kick out of the fact that just 2 days ago there was this major announcement that you can see Bill Belichick and his new football team on Hard Knocks, and then they say, yeah, we couldn't come to an agreement. Someone call PJ. I bet you PJ would land movie roles.
Actually, I bet there's a lot of college teams that would do that only for help in recruiting and things like that.
Oh, definitely.
This will turn into a college program. I'm telling you, call PJ Fleck. That dude will end up with movie roles, and not Travis Kelce movie roles. I'm talking about he and Tom Hanks in a dramatic, heart-wrenching
love story.
Love story.
I would watch the heck out of that.
Me too. PJ's that damn good.
I love him so much.
And he's cute, too.
I love his energy.
Tom
I know
Hanks.
some people find that it's slightly annoying, but I love it.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks says Heather Fleck.
PJ's wife.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
That's hot.
If you hand this to the University of Minnesota football team, PJ Fleck becomes the next Brad Pitt. And that's probably the scenario HBO has to go with here. Call some college programs. Row the boat, Sky Umago, Gophers.
Row the boat, Sky
Jimmy Johnson is retiring from Fox Sports NFL television coverage. Are you going to miss Jimmy?
Extremely difficult decision. I've been thinking about it for the last 4 or 5 years, and I've decided to retire from Fox. And I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss all the guys, and I'll see them occasionally. But it has been a great run starting back 31 years ago.
You've been doing it for 31 years?
Yeah.
Well, that surprised me, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was part of the original.
One of the original ones for when Fox began broadcasting football.
And that was 1994. Oh, this is funny. Spooky Spaghetti Jesus texted in about the Bill Belichick thing, how it looked like he and his football team were going to be on Hard Knocks, but not anymore. Spooky Spaghetti Jesus says North Carolina doesn't provide child care for Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
Who's going to watch her?
And HBO wouldn't cover the cost either.
Oh, no.
I love you, Spooky Spaghetti.
Oh, man.
Who was the other football personality who was just very vocal in their disgust of Bill Belichick's new girlfriend? Was it Boomer Esiason?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Maybe someone could look that up. When the story broke that Bill Belichick at how old is he? 71, 72? I have no idea.
80. Oh, Bill Belichick.
He's in his 70s, yeah.
Dating a 29-year-old, whatever she is. I thought it was Boomer Esiason who went on his radio show and just said, "What are you, nuts or something? What's the matter with you?"
Belichick's 72. And was his girlfriend 23 or
24?
Oh, my God. If we could all be so lucky.
Ashley almost threw up.
Just for a day.
Just for one snowy, windy day.
Exactly. I don't need a lifetime.
No.
Just a day.
Nah, you would be irritated. Within 5 minutes, she'd pull out her phone to post a Snapchat or something.
Don't be Snapchatting anything that goes on.
Yeah, you'd be done. Are we live streaming this?
Just for a day.
Just for a snowy, wintry, early March, windy day. Be my 24-year-old girlfriend.
I don't need a lifetime.
A day at the beach in Florida, right, Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't need a lifetime.
Boy, that would spice up your final day in Florida.
He might never come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't get out of here alive.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Find you
Floating
with
in the ocean somewhere.
I'd be floating in the pool.
a steak knife in your friggin' jugular.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
With a look on your face, a mix of surprise and satisfaction.
His last words are, "It was worth it."
Every minute it was, and then the death gurgle. How about this? PJ Fleck and Manny Pacquiao do a remake of Rush Hour together. You would watch that? PJ could be a, what do they call it in the business, Josh? An A-lister.
I think you're right.
With more exposure.
Yeah. He's got the personality.
What about a high school football team doing the HBO thing? A listener suggested. Yeah, that's always a possibility.
Yeah.
MTV did that back in the day with a show called Two-A-Days with a program down in Alabama.
That seems
too narrow.
sketchy.
Yeah.
It's too narrow.
Their ratings wouldn't be as high. They wouldn't do that.
The friggin' high school kids. All right, so Jimmy Johnson, you won't see him on television anymore.
I'll live.
I'll tell you what, we got a Pigs update coming up in just a minute, but one more football note. Oh, and I'm glad we were talking about the Golden Gopher Football Club. Do they face, someone is going to have to look this up. I'm sure they have this fall's schedule. Yeah. They played Illinois this past season, so that likely means they won't play them next season.
Probably.
Okay. Be afraid of the University of Illinois football team. And that's not a statement on their roster or their coach or anything. I just read the Illinois College Football Club, the Fighting Illini, have added a Taekwondo Grand Master to their coaching staff.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Now, and this goes back to Bill Belichick, actually. Funny, we were just talking about his Jurassic ass. Bill Belichick hired this guy. His name is Joe Kim. Bill Belichick hired this guy when he was coaching the Cleveland Browns in the early 90s. This Taekwondo expert. Now, this guy trained Olympians. This guy has trained over 250 black belts in Taekwondo.
Oh, my word.
He and his closest friends will kill you dead with a flick of the wrist, right? Belichick signed him in the early 90s. He's been bouncing around different football programs since then, teaching them whatever knowledge he thinks will be useful.
Yeah, but like just the ability to use your hands in a way to, like if you're a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leverage and hand strength. It says right here, of course, Taekwondo primarily revolves around kicking and punching, but there's also plenty of emphasis on speed, momentum, and Josh, this is something you've got loads of, kinetic energy. I think that's frightening to think that I'm going to go up against a football team who's been sensei'd by a Taekwondo grandmaster. Just pull an artery out of your thigh and you bleed out at midfield.
I know a guy, he runs a jiu-jitsu and boxing gym, and he's hired by a professional hockey team to go in and do whatever he does.
Sure. Talk to the boys about, I suppose, a professional hockey team?
Yep.
He probably talks to the goons.
I think that's exactly right.
Hand strength and...
Yep.
So cool.
Man, I wish I could just... I mean, come on. Wouldn't that be great?
I would start so many fights.
Yeah.
I looked at the schedule. The Gophers don't have to worry about any jiu-jitsu players this year.
They got time to learn.
No Illinois on the schedule.
No.
Brett Bielema is the coach at Illinois. That doesn't surprise me. He's kind of a little bit out of the box with some of the things he does.
Didn't he used to coach Wisco?
Yep. Yes, he did.
He did.
Then he went to Arkansas for a while, and now he's at Illinois.
He's goofy?
He's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's a little off.
Oh, my word. That dude died. He just died.
That went into the stands.
Yeah. I hope they get that guy to do the color commentary on Illinois football games this year.
The oh my word guy?
Yeah, that dude.
Oh, my God. Speaking of commentary, okay, real quick. I got all kinds of things I got to say and get through here. Here's how P.J. Fleck and the University of Minnesota Football Club combats Illinois. They've hired a black belt from Taekwondo. A listener says P.J. Fleck should hire Jean-Claude Van Damme as one of the assistant coaches.
They'll go undefeated.
And speaking of, someone said something about color commentary?
Yeah.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I think that the oh my word guy should do the play-by-play or color commentary for Illinois football this year.
Dude, Josh and I, speaking of color commentary or, help me, Josh, sports announcing. What am I trying to say?
Play-by-play?
Play-by-play. Play-by-play. Guy in this building, Josh and I talked to him yesterday, started to talk about his family.
Oh, that's right.
We did. This floored me. Guy in this building who we've known for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We got to talking to him yesterday, and he started talking about his family, specifically his brother. And just being polite, because the guy was going on and on, to be honest with you.
You were trying to shut him up.
Trying to move on. I said, what does your brother do for a living? And he said, oh, he does play-by-play for Frisbee golf.
And apparently it's like a big deal. He travels all over the place.
And I said, Ashley, I said in his face, almost nose to nose, I said, what? I couldn't believe what he said. He said, yes, my brother does play-by-play for Frisbee golf. He goes, like Josh said, he goes all over the world.
How do you get into that field?
What did he say? He told us.
A lot of weed.
He said it was kind of an accident, right? It's not like he went out to do it. He just...
That makes sense.
Started on YouTube
yeah,
or something?
he just started doing it, and it's become a career, and he told us he travels all over the world.
I have never...
What is there to say?
I don't know, because I don't know the sport.
There goes the disc. It's flying. Oh, almost hit that tree.
Oh,
but
good
he missed
arc
it.
on that one.
Well, I don't remember.
Wait, no, was it Frisbee golf or was it competitive Frisbee?
Oh, ultimate Frisbee?
Ultimate
that's
Frisbee.
what it was,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, that's what it was.
all right.
Ultimate Frisbee.
That makes some more sense.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. I guess there's more to be said since you're facing somebody else.
Okay, I don't know either sports.
Okay,
I don't.
yes, that's what it was.
Ultimate Frisbee. Yes. I apologize. Is that where you sort of pass it around like it's a football?
Yeah, it's like football, just with the Frisbee.
Gosh, I remember playing that in high school.
Okay, so in that case, Ashley, you can say, dude caught it and he's going that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Not Frisbee golf, ultimate Frisbee, but still.
But if you want to be cool, though, you don't call it ultimate Frisbee. You just call it ultimate.
Ultimate.
Oh. Just ultimate.
Hey, we're getting some guys together. We're going to play some ultimate.
I thought people get mad if you say Frisbee, too. Is that not the case? Like, you have to call it a disc?
Yeah.
I know we've been yelled at over text.
Yeah, people get mad sometimes if you call it disc golfing, frolfing.
I remember...
I think it's cute.
Did you ever expect to hear someone say that out loud,
No,
Josh?
never.
Right.
Never once.
It's a marquee moment.
And it's funny, you would ask him, like, well, was he any good at it? And he's like, you know. He didn't have a lot to say about how good his brother was.
Maybe he's
great.
like me and doesn't like to say anything positive about his brother.
He's the Joe Buck of ultimate Frisbee golf.
Yeah.
I guess so.
A lot of people don't like him.
That was fascinating. All right, Karen Rogers is a douche. Jesus has texted in. He says it's a vicious cycle. If the Golden Gophers hire Von Dam, then Illinois will hire Steven Seagal, and then we'll have to hire Josh. Who would be next? Chuck Norris, and it just be a
what about
bloodbath.
Zapka and Macchio?
Sure. Oh, I love Ralph Macchio.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be
yeah,
awesome.
The series is wrapped up.
Yeah, get Cobra Kai up in here.
Ralph Macchio living in this town would make my dreams come true.
Jason Statham, I think he'd be a worthy adversary.
Oh, heck yeah.
The Man Bear Pigs snatched up a necessary win over a completely unnecessary hockey club. Matt Zuccarello's goal about halfway through the second period was the difference maker. The boys won her by a final of 4-3. Fred Gaudreau, Jared Spurgeon had a goal and assist each. Old-ass, broken-down Phil Gustafson made 33 saves. They went up 4-1 in this game, but the totally unnecessary scored a couple of power play goals to tighten things up, and they had to hang on to the bitter end. Now, forward Ryan Hartman returned after serving his 8-game suspension for forcing a man to perform cunnilingus on the ice surface back a few weeks ago.
You did get him pretty dirty.
You can get your tongue stuck that way.
He's back. Yeah, you can get your tongue stuck. So it's nice to have Ryan Hartman back.
Yeah.
That Zuccarello dude, well, this is kind of a dick move, actually. Zuccarello put together his 79th multi-point game last night, and that ties our guy Zachy Parisi for 4th most in franchise history. Take it easy.
Yeah, settle down a little bit.
I don't like anyone messing with Zach in any way, shape, or form. Up next, the boys are playing at the Vancouver Canucks Friday night. Normally, we'd be talking to tough guy McGee.
Marcus
Foligno. But with him out on the left coast.
Tough guy McGee. Yes.
He did recently.
You know what? He would love that name, too.
That's so true, Randy.
You should call him that.
I will. Next time he's on, we'll call him Tough Guy
McGee.
I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. You guys all know that I just cannot remember names. Maybe next year for a preseason game, he'll wear McGee on the back of his sweater.
Make it easier for you, for sure.
Yeah.
He did get in a fight during the Bruins game.
Oh, yes, he did.
Here we go. It's going to be Foligno and Kastelik. Foligno a right, Kastelik a right. Foligno a right that missed. Kastelik Kastelic a right. These are two heavyweights. Kastelic a right. They spin. Kastelic another right. Foligno a right that missed. And both men go down.
Ooh, sounds like he didn't win that one.
I missed it.
Yeah, they kind of spun up together and kind of fell on the ice at the same time.
Did he get an empty net goal in that game, too?
No,
He
empty
did not.
netters. They won 1-0, and that was a legitimate goal, a man's goal.
I think we jinxed
A
him.
new Foligno hat trick would be a fight, an empty net goal, and an assist.
Right. The Foligno hat trick.
That'd be great if that caught on.
How about just a fight and 2 empty net goals?
There you go.
But either way, Vancouver on Friday night. We might as well, why not squeeze in to our Pigs report, squeeze in a little jaw-jacking about today's boys high school hockey tournament that starts in St. Paul. That takes place in St. Paul.
Is that going to happen okay today with all the snow?
We're barrel-assed Minnesotans. We can get down to the rink, can't we?
Because I know the Gopher basketball team plays Wisconsin tonight. I'm wondering if that's still a go. I'm assuming
it's
it will
actually
be.
done snowing now. They'll get the roads cleared by
Yeah.
They'll get everything straightened out, Randy Shaver, and I mean, wouldn't that be something? We'd be laughed at from one end of the country to the other if the Minnesota State High School boys hockey tournament was canceled due to snow.
snowed out, yeah.
They'd laugh us.
Yeah, I could see Bleacher Report writing on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, I remember going down there in, I think it was 1989, and it was one of the coldest, windiest effing nights I'd ever experienced, and still to this day. I think it was 89. It was just brutal. Now, it wasn't snowing like this, but it was just very, very cold and very, very windy. And when my old man and I got to the rink, we were going up to one of the hotels to drink beer beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Because we had friends from War Road. And War Road was in the tournament, so we were going to go drink with the War Road group before their game started. And maybe you had to be there, but we rounded the corner of a building. You know how it happens in the cities, the way winds go cooking down city streets and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's like they're just funneled perfectly. We went. My dad's got a case of beer in one hand. I think I got a paper bag full of Doritos or whatever, and we rounded the corner of one building, heading to this hotel, and the wind gust hit my friggin' dad right in the yap. And he made the most desperate face I'd ever seen him make. I mean, you could tell it took every bit of wind out of his sails. Today, going to be rough heading down there. But folks can handle it. So starting today is Class A. And you got, starting us off here, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, St. Cloud Cathedral, Matamidi.
Yep.
I was saying earlier, I was planning on going down to see the second game so I could boo Orono.
Tweeterville?
Tweeterville. But the roads are a little iffy. Maybe I'll just go back to Cubby's house and we'll make some popcorn or something and watch the games on television. Northfield plays Tweeterville at 1:30. Then at night, Hibbing Chisholm versus Laverne.
Fun. Hibbing Chisholm. Yeah.
Go Laverne.
You're a Laverne fan, Brad Ryder?
I just like those small town southwest Minnesota towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get a they never got a whiff at the tournament for the entire run.
Until the format changed, yeah.
And the final will be East Grand Forks versus, I'm not familiar with this one, Northern Lakes?
It must be a consolidation.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone know what towns make up Northern Lakes?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Fair enough.
This is the kind of weather that made Lou Nanny decide it was time to hang it up.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
If you remember, Lou Nanny tells the story that he, after the first night of the tourney, he didn't have a coat. He was driving back. It was terrible weather. It was like 20 miles an hour, and he got a flat tire on the interstate, and nobody helped him.
Yeah.
And he goes, 80-year-old guy. I'm an 80-year-old guy on the side of the road trying to change a tire, and I'm saying to myself, what in the hell am I doing? And so this weather is in honor of Louie, who, by the way, I think is working the Wild games out west with the broadcast team instead of being at the state tournament.
Is he really?
I think so.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you remember that, Randy Shaver. That's a great story, and it's exactly why the guy said, "Look, I'm gonna duck out of here."
Yep, it's time.
I should have known.
Who's doing it, by the way? Who's taking over for Louis?
I haven't followed that in years. I would always pay attention to Lou or the Clayboy.
Yeah, but this would be the first year without Lou.
Okay, so I've seen Mark Parrish in there somewhere. Now, I don't Tom Chorsky. I don't know the lead play-by-play people. Okay. But Northern Lakes, their high school hockey club is called the Lightning, and they represent Pequot Lakes. You know who lives up in that area, Josh?
Chip Lowmiller.
Hot Tub.
Does he?
Hot Tub lives up. Chip Lowmiller?
Yeah, he's the fire chief.
F me. Yeah. That's a great story. Crosby Aiken is represented, and PRB? I should know this, but I don't recognize what that means. PRB.
PRB.
Consisting of players from Pequot Lakes, Crosby Aiken, and PRB. What the hell is that?
Is it Pine River Bacchus?
Let's go with it.
That's it. Pine River Bacchus.
Let's friggin' go with it. Well, that's exciting. We'll cover the Class AA skis tomorrow. The Wolves pulled away from the Philadelphia 76ers last night, came up with a win, 126 points to 112. Naz Reid, total pimp last night, 23 points. Anthony Edwards, 18. A lot of folks got involved. Randall, 16. Walker, 20.
Yeah. I think the whole key to the game last night was a great fourth quarter where they didn't turn the ball over until late in the quarter. They had way too many turnovers last night that led to points that kept the Sixers in the game last night. But the fourth quarter was a different story.
They cleaned it up for you.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up. Josh, did you catch your wife last night watching a replay of Mike Conley's half-court buzzer beater in the nude?
No, but I sent her the video this morning.
Did you?
Oh, man. What a great morning. What a great thing to wake up to.
Oh, gee, she'd leave me in a heartbeat for him.
Cubby wife, love Mike Conley Jr., and I could just picture you rounding the corner. Why is the television, like, I could see you walking around a corner in the bedroom, all the lights are off except for the light of the television. And she's watching Mike Conley's buzzer beater, and she's in the nude. And she says, I'm sorry, I thought you were working downstairs.
Just a glass of wine.
Nick, I went to a breakfast yesterday that you would have loved to have gone to. I went to the Dunkers breakfast yesterday, and it was the topic was the 97 Gopher basketball Final Four run.
Oh.
They had John Thomas was there, Bobby Jackson was there.
Wow.
Bobby Jackson is an assistant coach for the 76ers, so that's why he was in town yesterday. You would have loved it.
I would have had
about that tournament.
We just went on and on about that a few days ago. Yeah, I would have been absolutely in tears.
All right, Nick, my wife just texted on the topic. And I didn't realize this. She stayed up later than I did. She said she was actually watching the game last night with your godson, and so she saw it in person and rewound it a handful of times.
Son,
I
can you leave the
didn't even
room?
need to send it to her.
You got to keep it clean around the kid.
Your son's like, Mom, the fourth quarter has started. Can we stop rewatching this?
Dad's right upstairs.
Check this out, Randy Shaver. You dumped some information on us that I had never heard before. Chip Lowmiller, Golden Gopher football kicker.
Yep.
And
First
one of
$1 million kicker in the NFL.
Terrific college kicker, long pro career, one of the greats.
Yep.
You mentioned Chip Lowmiller is the fire chief in Pequot Effin Lakes.
That's cool. I'd never heard of it.
He's up in, I think it's Cross Lake.
Oh, Cross Lake. Okay.
I think he's the fire chief up there.
Close enough.
Done some things I'm not proud of in Cross Lake.
I bet.
Same here, actually.
Which is why you're banned from
Right. No more Moonlight Bay for me. They got my picture on the wall.
Yeah.
I behaved myself up there, but one of my ex-girlfriends did not.
You can get in some trouble in that town. It's great. I love that. I love Cross Lake.
It's a beautiful town. Leaning on a Shovel Jesus texted in to say that Chip Lowmiller was on scene when I cut my finger last year in Cross Lake.
Yeah.
So he must have cut himself bad enough to where the fire department had to show up, and there was Chip. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. He is one of the great people of all time. He's one of the nicest guys. He plays in my golf event every year. He plays the morning round, which tees off at 7:30, which means he's leaving Cross Lake at like 5 in the morning to come play. He's just awesome. He's just such a great guy. And you never hear of, rarely do you hear a pro athlete when they retire, go into like public service like that, right?
No, not very often. They usually sell cars. Or at least back in the day, they sold cars.
Sure. But that was one of the things he always wanted to be, was a fireman.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins.
He did.
Right here in the Dome.
That's right. 1989, was it?
92.
91.
Suck me sideways. I'm glad to hear all that about
against Buffalo.
Leaning on a shovel got back to me. I misread his text. He cut his finger off.
Jeez.
And that's why the fire department was on the scene. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry about that, leaning on a shovel. I thought I read it.
Wow.
Kevin Durant and Angel Reese dating rumors?
Whoa.
Anyone?
Isn't he way older than she is?
Yeah, but we just talked about Bill Belichick.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a little older.
Yeah, shame on me.
Durant's 36.
He looks like he's 72 years old. He does. Kevin Durant, he looks elderly.
Yeah, he's looked 36 for a long time.
He likes the female basketball players because he dated
not
one
alone.
of the Lynx players a long time ago.
Oh.
This was 10 years ago or so, and I can't remember the Lynx player who it was.
Well, they got something to talk about.
Yeah, I imagine they understand each other's schedules and
about the same height, at least close.
The Durantula and the finest female basketball player in the world today, Angel Reese. Rumors that they are dating. They got spotted together at a basketball game.
Makes sense.
Wait a minute. No, that's not it. Well, the first time they were spotted together was a while back in the Olympics. When was the Olympics? 6-8 months ago, last year? I don't remember. Right?
Yeah.
Summer Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They got spotted there together. And then recently, I don't know, they were at an adult movie. Who cares? Anyway, they've been spotted together. And people are convinced they're definitely dating. Okay?
I just thought of it. It was Monica Wright.
Monica Wright. I don't recognize the name.
Wasn't he courtside for a few games here and there?
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was. Yep.
I don't recognize the name. Well, there you go. War Daddy Jesus also texted in. I'm not familiar with this club, but I'm happy to dump a shout-out. Give a shout-out to my brother-in-law, Tim. Again, this is War Daddy Jesus. Tim's the head coach of the Minnesota State University of Moorhead Dragons basketball team, who took home the NSIC championship last night. And also Peterborough lost, so as of now, we're in the playoffs.
That's great.
That's right. Northern State.
Minnesota Moorhead Dragons won the NSIC championship last night. Congratulations to them. Brad, did you have what it takes to play in the NSIC?
Did you have the guts, Brad?
I might have. I played D3, so...
You played D3? Where'd you play D3?
Well, at the school I teach at now, I played baseball.
Oh, I didn't know this was your alma mater.
I didn't know that either.
I just learned that too.
I didn't know that school was a thing when we were young.
Yeah.
Wow. So you played some D3. Good for you, you bastard.
It was back when pretty much anybody could.
Oh.
You could have left that part out. We still would have been impressed.
Well, I'm just being honest.
Ew. I understand now. All right, we got to get going again. Thank you, Brad Ryder. Thank you, Randy Shaver.
You bet.
Yep.
We will talk to you before you even know it. We will return as well in a minute here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. I'm not exactly a tech genius, but I knew one thing for sure. If I wanted my small business to crush it, I needed a website that worked like a pro, and I needed it yesterday. Lucky for me, Bluehost made it ridiculously easy. With their AI design tools, building my website was a walk in the park. I could customize, optimize, and monetize everything exactly how I wanted. In just a few minutes, I had a secure site up and running. I couldn't believe how straightforward it was. And getting found online? Bluehost helped me with that too. I perfected my keywords and meta descriptions with their search engine tools. The AI even gave me suggestions to improve my pages. Now, I can sit back, relax, and focus on my customers while my website continues to rank higher and higher on Google. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, I wasn't worried about taking the plunge. And now I'm so glad I did. Head over to Bluehost.com and build something special today.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Go ahead. Make my day.
On 93X.
Here we are, 8:31. Thank you very much for making this your radio show a part of your morning here on Planet Hoth. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
You did.
Nice reference.
Not very often I dump a Star Wars joke into the mix. So here we are, cruising towards Cubby's 50th birthday. It's only a couple weeks away. Oh my damn, where have our lives gone, Josh, where in a couple weeks you will be a 50-year-old man?
I wonder that myself.
30 years we've been here, and now little Josh, with his dyed hair and his wallet chain and his flavor saver, he's about to crack the big fat ass 5-0.
Same guy with the fat pants and the ribbed, not t-shirt, but sweater. Yeah, I understand.
You had some fat ass pants.
I thought I'd be a lot smarter at this point in my life, a little more knowledgeable.
Who was
or I've accomplished more.
Was it Limp Bizkit who had a record, or maybe it was their general logo of a character with big fat pants and a backwards hat with their hands in their pockets?
Yeah, that was
Korn?
Limp Bizkit.
Korn, maybe.
I thought
Limp
that was Korn.
Bizkit?
Maybe it was Limp Bizkit. I thought
That
it
was
Korn.
what Josh looked like when we started here all those years ago.
I had, but I only had those fat pants one day. And what happened was we were doing a work event. Somebody took a picture. I saw it and thought, okay, I got to stop. I can't pull those off.
It's okay.
But I did have one pair.
Whenever I see that logo, whether it was Korn or Limp Bizkit, it reminds me of your style back when we first started up here together. You know, suddenly Cubby's about ready to be 50. Next stop, death.
Getting there. Looking forward to it.
Let's run down this year checklist of things you should do before you're 50. And you can react naturally, of course. 20 different things that you should do before you're 50. Use your passport.
Never owned a passport. No interest in using one.
But what about when we went to those faraway places?
Pre-September. Well, actually, one of them wasn't pre-September 11th. Birth certificate. Is what I used.
I did not know that was possible.
Well, I don't know if it is now, but back then it was.
Huh.
It wasn't necessary at the time, so you just brought your birth certificate to the airport, and that was never had a passport. I even have a passport.
Yeah, I have one.
Don't use it, but I have one. Okay, so I can't ring the bell. And of course, I know you. That doesn't bother you that you're almost.
No, I think I'll be fine.
Who the hell gives a rat's ass? But I guess
you need
what
a
they're saying,
passport to cross into Wisconsin at some point, I'll never have a passport.
more or less what they're saying here, I think, is you should start traveling.
Yeah.
Okay, and traveling sucks.
I am traveling for the first time in a long time, outside of, heading to Wisconsin.
You do it all the time when you play basketball.
Traveling?
Yeah. Oh, God.
I'll argue with any call on that, even though I know I did travel.
Yeah. You've got this nailed. Something you should do before you're 50. Cry through a movie.
More and more it happens.
Doesn't even have to be a movie.
No, commercials will get me, yeah.
Cry
Books.
through a movie. Well, there are some that get me. No one should be afraid to admit these types of things. There are some that get me.
I'll hide it from my wife sometimes. And I hope she doesn't ask a question in the middle of a little cry attack where I just can't hide it.
Oh, my friggin' wife, who can't stay out of my business lately at all, has just texted me to say that my passport has expired.
Oh, no.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Do I need that? Get back. I'll see you at home. Do I need that? Where are we going? When's the last time you were watching a program with the wife and you had to bite your lower lip and fight back tears out of concern that she would think there was something wrong with you? Or does she see it so often you're not concerned about it?
No, I mean, it's really not that often, but it gets me more than it used to, certainly. Like, I used to think I was a bit of a robot because a lot of that stuff wouldn't affect me, but it really affects me now. Having kids changed it. But there's a couple doctor shows we watched that have been a little rough.
Doctor shows?
Yeah, some newer doctor shows.
Oh, you mean like dramatic television? I think you're talking about like you're watching someone get operated on, or like a real doctor.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't watch that kind. But yeah, like a couple of doctor shows that were pretty tough.
You know what gets me every time?
What's that?
You know. I mean, I've told you before. You just probably don't remember. The opening scene from the movie Creed.
Oh, yeah. That's a great scene.
When the kid says, "What was his name?" Every time.
It could have something to do with the fact that the older you get, the less testosterone you produce, too.
Oh, thanks for that.
I have a tap, and it leaks out of the tap. My testosterone tap.
So what do you... I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I put a Band-Aid over it. It doesn't help.
Just one of the little circle Band-Aids?
Yeah.
I don't understand these things. So the less testosterone that we have, we men, the more... emotional we get? That's a real thing?
Well, testosterone makes you more manly.
It does?
Yeah. Rugged.
I don't know if I could get any more manly.
I don't know.
Isn't it too much testosterone that causes our hair to fall out?
I believe so, yeah.
Something else Josh should do before he's 50. Let's see if he's accomplished it or not. Oh, have you written a will?
Yes. When my wife and I got married, we did have wills written.
Anything?
Smart.
Have you updated them since you met me?
Since I met you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I hired a guy to ruin your life.
Is there anything interesting in there? Or is it fairly typical?
When you don't own much, there's really not. No, it's just, hey, take care of it.
Do you mind talking about where you want to end up? Do you want to go into the oven, or do you want to...
whatever's the cheapest.
What do they call it?
Casket?
Casket, yeah.
Whatever's cheapest.
Okay.
I'm assuming the cremation.
My fiance is very adamant on wanting to be like a tree when he passes away.
A tree?
I don't know. He wants me to make mix his ashes in with a tree and then
Is he a
the tree
dog?
grow.
Because we did
I
that
have
with
no
our
idea.
dog.
Is he a hippie?
No, not at all. He just thinks it's a cool idea.
According to this checklist, everyone should get a tattoo before they turn 50. No thanks. Well, I'm beyond 50. I've never had... There's only been one day of my life where I was interested in getting a tattoo. But you had...
Do you have a will?
No.
Okay, so you don't have that one. You don't have the tattoo.
Oh, Christ, I guess, yeah.
I was curious how many you've done on this.
I don't know why I'm putting this all on you. I guess because you're the birthday boy here in a couple weeks. Have I used a passport? Yes. Have I cried during a movie? Of course. Will? No. Tattoo? No. You got tattoos as a young person, like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you wear a shirt where you can actually see your tattoos, it always takes me by surprise. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, so I have my kids' names, and because I would forget them and actually forget I had them often. And I was always confused when people would bring it up, so I decided I'll tattoo their names on it. And when my youngest was born, he started to get a complex, like, how come you haven't added my name? I remember thinking, we don't know for sure if we're going to keep them or whatever, but then when we decided we were, I just didn't want to do it. I was past tattoos. But so I ended up doing it out of guilt.
Fair enough. Christ almighty.
What?
I can't do anything right. Now I got a text from the wife saying, OMG, we do have a will. When the hell did we fill out a will? Get back to me.
You made her OMG you. You've really disappointed her.
When did we write a will?
And I didn't want to bust you, but you've got a tattoo. It says respect on your abs. Because you demand it.
I have zero memory of writing a will. We must not have much either.
Well, that's what happens. It's a 5-minute process.
And I want to thank a listener named George for sending in I want to thank a listener named George for sending in the funniest slogan I've heard all day. He simply texted us, "Where there's a will, put me in it."
Can I have your pool table?
I got my eye on the pinball machine.
Take a closer look at that sumbitch.
Not quite up to par.
Well, I had someone come over and fix it, and then 2 weeks later, it was right back to being broken.
Oh, no. Was it really?
Yeah, it happens.
I know you were waiting for that for a long time.
Ashley, I got to talk to my bro, Jimmy Abs. It's coming down between you and Jimmy Abs as to who will get my billiard table when I'm gone.
We'll fight for it.
Now I want
You know Jim. You've met Jim at the Legion. Jimmy
I can take
Abs.
him.
Yeah. Oh,
I
hell
want
yeah.
you guys to come through my house and decide if there's anything you want.
Don't you have a cardboard cutout of Rocky Balboa?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you maybe pencil me in on that one?
Yeah, I'll write you in.
Thank you.
Where there's a will, put me in it. I am going to steal that line until my will is put into effect, put into use. Things you should do before you're 50. Okay, go to a music festival.
Plenty of those.
Of course.
Workplace hazard.
It was a workplace hazard for many, many years, but I get it. I mean, there are some people who never had the time or the money. Sure, that's a fun experience for someone and fun to think, okay, I'm going to get this over with before I turn 50. Ooh, well, here's something that I've done. I don't remember if you've ever told the story. This checklist says before you turn 50, you need to go. Oh, you did. In Hawaii, you went skinny dipping.
I did, yeah. Yep. One and only time I ever went skinny dipping.
Nice.
Middle of the night, does that still count?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's usually when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's good.
Learn a new language? No, I mean, I took Spanish class in 9th grade.
I took 2 years of German, 1 year of Spanish, but I can't say I learned anything.
I'm too far gone for that.
I learned some swear words in Swahili.
That's cool.
But that's the extent of it.
Travel solo. I've traveled solo.
Oh, I recommend everybody travel solo.
It's wonderful.
I mean, it wasn't as if I said, well, I maybe I shouldn't ring the bell. Because it wasn't as if I said, I'm going on vacation by myself. It just happened that I was going home before anyone else, and I took a plane on my own. Can I call that traveling solo?
I
don't
picture
think
you're
so.
going on a trip.
Yeah, then no.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Stop squinting and get some reading glasses. Well, you've had an operation or something, haven't you?
Yeah, but the up close stuff is still actually got a little worse. So I do have that at home sometimes, like for reading a book or something.
Put these on. I wear readers. Put these on. Let's see what Josh would look like in reading glasses.
Oh, this
I bet you look adorable.
Yeah.
I know I wear it well. Oh, total nerd. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not good.
I love it, though.
It's not good.
These are blurry.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're going to have a headache.
They're blurry, you said?
Yeah.
His vision is so good that correcting it just makes it worse somehow.
Well, I wonder if mine's worse.
Yeah.
That's why it's blurry.
Josh, I think I would at least, my opinion is that you have done plenty of this in your day. Mentor someone.
I guess so, sure.
A lot of young kids have come through this radio station, and
I like to help when
99.
I can.
If there have been 100 young kids that have come through this radio station, you've been the guy, and you were perfect in that role, I think, because very knowledgeable and
Definitely.
I would have a difficult time with an 18-year-old kid, you know what I mean? But you handled it well. Learn how to play an instrument? Sure.
Poorly, yeah.
Cubby plays the guitar. See your favorite band live. I know it sounds kind of silly, but again, for some folks, the opportunity isn't there. You just saw your favorite band live.
Sitting right next to you.
Yeah, almost. It'll be a year, February 22nd.
I think you're right, yeah.
So we went to go
just came up.
See Mr. Big last.
Gosh, that was so good.
Oh,
Wasn't
that's
that a
right.
great show?
Smashley was there too, dancing her ass off.
That was so good.
She had better seats.
Now
How
here's.
did that work out?
She did not have better seats.
She had better seats.
We were in second row.
We were
in the same row.
Same row, but she was center stage.
Yeah.
But for you, that wasn't better seats because you wanted to be nearest Paul Gilbert,
Well,
and we were in.
And that's my wife did that on purpose. She put us on the Paul Gilbert side. For
That's
that
so
reason.
cool.
Here's something I'm fairly sure none of us have done, and this is a tall order for someone closing in on 50. I think explore the wilderness. That's just a good way for someone to get killed.
Yeah.
I guess I've done
camping.
that.
I don't think that counts for explore the wilderness. And they want you to be like a Jordan Parisi and put on a pair of jean shorts and a backpack and wander into nothingness.
Yeah.
Like Jordan used to do.
Yeah, I've gone portaging in the Boundary Waters. I think that counts.
Portaging, you said.
Portaging?
Close enough. I don't know why you sounded like we were listening to the Webster Dictionary audio pronunciation of that.
I wanted to make sure I got it right.
I just checked the frequency. I thought we became NPR for a second.
I've gone portaging. This is hilarious. Hell no. Run a marathon.
No, I don't think so.
Before you turn 50.
I don't know if cumulatively in my life I've ran a marathon.
Those people are crazy.
You could walk one.
I've done one of those, like shaver shuffles. I do that every year.
Yeah.
That's a 5K. I walk that son of a gun, though.
I missed this one. Never going to happen with me. Go skydiving or bungee jumping.
No.
Absolutely not. I never even was tempted when, specifically bungee jumping was the most popular thing in America in the mid-90s for about 6 months. Every corner you rounded, someone was bungee jumping. There were pop-up bungee jump stands, whatever the word might be. Hell no.
I bought my ex a skydiving package or whatever so he could go, and it was very, very terrifying because on the landing, he was about a couple feet away from hitting a building and landed on concrete.
Oh, dude.
Your current fiance?
No, my high school ex.
High school ex?
Yep, because
So
I thought, he turned 18. I was
he
like,
was
oh, yeah, cool.
All by himself?
No, he had somebody with him. That's the thing.
So
It's
he
like,
was
what went
tandem,
wrong?
like with an expert?
Yeah, and my favorite part is I'm sitting there like videotaping the whole thing, and I don't move a muscle the whole time. After he lands, I don't get up to immediately check on him or anything, and I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, I should probably get up.
I'd be like the gang.
Passed on I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was going to say, I'd be like the gang from Cheers. I'd get up in the plane and then chicken out and be like, nah, let's bring it back down.
I don't have the courage for that at all. No interest. I had a really, awesome opportunity to do it one time, and I couldn't imagine doing that. Plus, they would have probably been annoyed with me.
I'll tell you, we got to take a break, but I'll tell you a skydiving story about one of my best friends. We'll wrap up this list of things you should do before you're 50 before we get out of here. If you're considering it, think about what happened to one of my best pals. He decided to go skydiving. They strapped the instructor to his back. That's how they do it, right, Ashley? That's how your boyfriend did it?
Yep.
And they jump. And my pal is, he's just there for the ride. The instructor is controlling everything. And my pal...
Oh, no.
Vomits. And it's the instructor right on his back just coated the instructor's face with what my pal had for breakfast that morning.
Oh, that's got to happen more often.
Dude, just the goggles.
How'd the guy take it?
Not well.
Really?
He was angry.
Yeah.
I would unhook him.
I was just making a little note to myself. We were talking about the 20 things that you should do before you're 50 years old. Cubby is damn near there, just a couple of weeks away.
I'm doing pretty good so far on this list.
We got to wrap this list up now, though. We got a few left. As you might imagine, we can't wait to get out of here and join the goat rodeo on the highways here in a minute.
Can't wait.
Here's what we had left on this checklist of the things you should do before you're 50. And this one's really interesting because I'm wondering if we've ever accomplished something like this. Write a short story. You're a writer.
Outside of in class, no.
Okay.
But I have certainly in class we had to. College, and we had a teacher in high school that was really into that kind of thing.
Didn't you used to keep a diary?
No. Remember, we talked about it. I had a journaling app. And it was like actually a tech podcast that I like to listen to, like a nerdy tech podcast, and one of the guys on there who I really like had said he started this journaling app, or using a journaling app, and it worked wonders for him.
Okay.
It helped him be more creative. It helped his memory. And
Yeah.
it just put him in a better mood. So I tried it out. And we read some of the stuff. It was ridiculously stupid. I had no idea what to say.
We did read some of it. I forgot that.
It was kind of like, made soup today. I felt like I kind of had to poop, but I didn't.
I bet you'd be a terrific writer if you ever wanted to sit down and write a short story. This is hilarious. The next on the checklist, no chance in hell. Learn how to dance.
No, it's funny. My wife is a dancer. She grew up doing that. She wanted to do it professionally, and she brings it up every once in a while. Like, it'd be really nice if you knew how to dance. But I have very little possibility of it ever working out. I don't want to crush the career of a great dance instructor.
Right.
Who realizes maybe they're not as good as they think. And that would be on me.
I've always wanted to do a dance class.
Well, shoot, a lot of people when they get married do, right? They want their first dance, they want it to be the salsa or something.
Right.
Swing dancing when that was big.
Well, the thing is, my fiance danced, like his whole entire childhood from 4 years old to 17 competitively. And so I've asked him multiple times, like, can you teach me something? He just has no interest in it anymore.
He's burned out on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
His chassé step leap days are over.
Oh my gosh, he's
his what?
Chassé step leap.
Chassé step leap.
I did take dance lessons though.
You did? What?
I did.
What do you mean? What?
What kind?
Well, I was tricked into this by my parents, and this was maybe I was younger. This was first grade, and my parents signed me up for. Never mind. I don't even want to.
Oh, come on.
For tap dance and ballet, because they told me professional football players did that to have better dexterity. and so, I was miserable.
Please tell me there are pictures.
Have you ever shared this with us before?
I don't think so.
Tap dancing and ballet, first grade
First
kid.
grade. And I was miserable. Right? I was the only guy in the class.
Well, I bet you sucked at it.
I don't. Well, no, here's the thing. I got moved up to the Wednesday class because I did pretty good in tap dancing.
Oh!
So they moved me from the Monday to the Wednesday class. They said, hey, kid, you're midweek material.
You're the next Ben Vereen, if I'm giving the name properly.
And once again, I was the only guy in class, and I went home and I told my parents I just can't do it anymore.
Did you cry?
And then they probably...
They were on to something, though.
I sashayed my way out of there. I curtsied and I left.
I don't think they completely lied to you because my fiance credits a lot of his balance and sports to dance. Like, it increased his balance and his core strength quite a bit.
I heard those stories too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you did? So my parents
when we were when we were kids, I had heard that once or twice that
that's what made
football players.
Oh, okay. My mom especially was like, professional football players do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you looked so cute out there in your little tap shoes.
I did have tap shoes.
little tutu.
Before you're 50, you should take a cruise. We've had those conversations on the show.
Never been interested until very recently. We had kind of bashed cruises, and a few people reached out and texted and emailed me and said, hey, you should try it.
They're not all bad.
Yeah, and that they continually get better. And I've seen a couple commercials that they look like small cities.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
And plus, they've got cool themes now. You can do the hard rock cruise, whatever,
Right.
Monsters of Rock cruise. You can go on a swingers cruise. We were talking about that a few weeks ago. You and the wife could swap partners on a swingers cruise. You should go back and visit your elementary school.
I don't think it's there anymore, but I would. I always thought that middle school was some of my favorite years of life. I absolutely loved middle school, and I always thought they should have reunions there. I mean, not just high school, but I'd love to see some of the kids, because my school was K through 8, so I went to school with these guys for a long time.
And finally, on this checklist of things that Cubby or anyone else who's getting ready to hit 50, something they should all do. Have you read over 100 books in your lifetime?
Definitely.
Oh, I bet you've done it this year alone. You've been a big reader lately, haven't you?
Yeah, I always have.
Definitely.
Well, I should say, as an adult, I have.
Wow.
When I was a kid, I hated it.
Over 100 books.
That's awesome.
Easily. Yeah, I mean, I know it's for people that read a lot. This isn't going to be super impressive, but for sure, I mean, I don't remember the last time I went a year without reading about 30 books.
That's incredible to me.
But
That's
now I kind of
impressive to
cheat
me.
because I'll listen in the car and then I'll go home and read. So it's a little cheating a little bit.
Well, yeah, you did well. We checked off a lot.
Yeah,
good job.
Too.
And I've accomplished quite a few of these, or I had before I turned 50. Of course, our listening audience texted in some of the things, Josh, that you should try before you're 50. Of course, 2 girls at the same time came up a few times. Kill an enemy with your bare hands.
That'd be sweet.
Get thrown out of a bar.
I have, yeah. I'm still embarrassed.
And finally, and this is a great note to leave on. Before you turn 50, Josh, a listener would like you to light a fart.
That is something I've never done. Ashley, you could probably give me some tips.
Yeah, I'm a pro.
I saw it happen once, and
was it fun?
I couldn't believe my eyes.
There were no survivors.
We had older kids. I was in a band, and one of the kids, the bass player's older brother, had warned us against it. He would talk about, that can go the opposite way,
right,
and it can burn up your intestines.
And I was fearful of that.
So you'd heard the same thing?
I'd heard the same thing. You're probably picturing we were 13 years old, me and my friends. No. This was one of my dad's friends who showed us this. Through his shorts and underwear, of course.
Yeah.
And I could not believe that I was lucky enough to be there in that moment.
Yeah, I had an uncle do it through jeans, and I thought, you got to have some power if you're
there.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing, but there was a bit of a flame.
Ooh. All right, we got to go.
Mopar Dad Jesus, a.k.a. Lake Street Taco Jesus. He has texted in about the Carver County plow driver who went out of his way to help push his vehicle out of a jam today. He said that kind of kindness is exactly what the world needs more of. Totally agree. Much respect. R6 Jesus, shout out the Bushmen and the guys at Park and Prairie out plowing today. Scoopy Bucket Jesus texted in his thanks to over 500 people who showed up for his mom's funeral last night. Lined up out the door, he said, and it was beautiful to see. That is great. Mm-hmm. Must have been a heck of a woman. Got an official Sheezus name change for today. Medical Chicken Lady Sheezus shall now be known as Chaos Coordinator Sheezus. See you tomorrow.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.